Oh,
Well. Here we are. It's Friday night. We're dressed to kill down at Maloney's Bar and Grill. The drinks will spill and the blood will flow. Has anyone got any blow? Sorry, I don't know where that went. Join us, kicking off tonight's festivities. We got the main man, Perez, in the house. Bostonian Irish Dominican. And we got revered sports journalist, Ewan MacKenna. Very welcome. He's long-time listener, first-time caller.
It's the first time in my career I've ever come back from the pub to do an interview.
Wow.
Hey, wouldn't be mine, Ewan.
And that's the way I like it.
So it's one of those. Yeah. I'm kind of hoping I don't wake up tomorrow morning and regret it.
Nah, you'll be sound, man. You'll be sound. It's nothing. I mean, like, basically, I think the shit we put out on Twitter is, I think it's a reflection of, if you're going to say it, like, I go awful heavy and I go awful hard.
Though you'll probably save me from tweeting it later anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll be like, sure, about 9 people watched it the last night.
Well, we had 40 going the other day. I'm just sharing the link now. So hopefully
we were blazing 40s.
Yeah, we'll
so so we got 13. I was going ahead putting together this YouTube thing, and then I realized I had to put on StreamYard because I couldn't bring anyone in. So there's going to be still waiting on this live stream. So maybe I should cancel the other one now.
The live stream's working on YouTube on this side of the pond.
Yeah, no, well it is, but this thing is there's 3 viewers waiting. Fuck me, it's going to be a biggie.
That's probably the reminder, because if they wait on the reminder, then I had to refresh it, but it's working.
Are they here now? We got a couple of people filling up the chat zone. We got Kian. Hello, what's going? Kian, it's good. It's going. Occam's Brute, how are you doing? Mimo Zemstan, how are you getting on? Oisin Campbell, man, Oisin, lads, what's happening? This fucking chat, man, and people can join the chat and ask questions, and that's how it is. It's like one of these cable access jobs. Oh, we got Sean from Chicago. What about Sean? How about that? Yes, work away.
Why is there a man in the middle not drinking? I feel only 2 of us here are on the brew.
He's going for it.
I'm doing sober October. That's why.
Why?
Because he had absolutely smashed 2021.
I don't know, Owen, if you know or not. I was just in Sweden last month in August with Martin. We were starting the beginning of what we can hope to be a long and fruitful television career together. And we filmed a nice little pilot for a show that we're going to be trying to sell to the markets here. So
we're going to sell it to Barstool Sports.
Have you guys seen the Celtics?
No.
Oh man, this is what's selling. This guy in LA who claims to have studied Irish but calls it County Sligo has come up with this kind of right-wing series that he's looking for funding for, where the ancient Celtics are trying to fend off the Romans because their free speech has been taken from them, and he can sell you a Wizards hat for $400 or an Irish staff for $600 to fund it. You got to see it. The acting is incredible in the trailer. I'm going to buy a staff just to see where this goes.
What's the name of it? The Celtics.
The Celtics, yeah. I think he banned 400,000 people on Twitter as a kind of a marketing stunt. It's called Celtic_film. But if you put in the Celtics, I was tweeting it the other day. It's incredible, the trailer. It's the most brilliant acting you'd see. Your local Amdram would be put to shame.
Send the link over there.
Yeah, please put the link there. It reminds me of... Yeah, sorry, Chris.
No, are you guys a fan of People Just Do Nothing?
I've seen bits of it, but I haven't. I've watched bits of it. Where's he going?
The mockumentary style. Did we lose Owen there? We lost him. But it's similar to the mockumentary style with the Hardy Box and The Office and Trailer Park Boys, except it's about these guys running like a pirate radio station, and they're pretty funny though. It's a good one. I was watching that to try and get some pointers there for the editing, because Sam is supposed to come over here tomorrow, and we're gonna edit. We're gonna get Act 2 done, so we'll have that out. I actually have the shot list and everything, so where is it? There it is. Scooters, the hotel, more making fun of Chris, cowboy speeches, the helicopter Ferrari ride, then you saying it's not too bad. So we've got something going on here. What Occam's Brute saying? Here we go.
Yeah, there's a controversy. Ewan better impress me. There was a good few of us saying the money went to McGregor's head and will go down before his articles. How do you mean? Also, we got Dr. David, as usual, chiming in with ethereal timepieces such as Vogue Williams' FD on TV3. I was watching a bit of football here the other night. Who was playing? Who was Chelsea? Oh, the Monday Night Football. Who's playing again?
Crystal Palace and Brighton.
Crystal Palace and Brighton was a big one. Brighton nearly went top of the league. But,
yeah, I saw that. What's their payroll compared to Man City? Man City's almost got $500 million. What's Brighton, like $20?
Man, if you're playing football,
less blood on
it. You got that one right.
Does your other half know what Monday Night Football is and who's playing? Mother of God, that sounds like a kind of a North Korean regime there.
Is fantastically skilled in. Like the other day, I said to her, the BBC One was on. Great source of news. The lunchtime roundup, and they were saying Heading is going to be removed from football because of Alzheimer's, and then she just goes, "What the hell's the point in the corner then?" And I was just like, "Fucking brilliant, man! It's fantastic. I'm living the dream. I'm living the dream." Chris says hello to you. I'll see if I can pull this out and see how it sounds. If I can do this, see what the feedback is like.
I'm sharing the link.
On the phone,
and you should too. Just send that link straight through to everybody you know.
Have you sent me a link?
No, I'm saying the link of this.
I wish I was more
YouTube
tech savvy.
Send that out to text it the phone.
Yeah, no, I for some reason I couldn't hear the audio coming out, so we'll leave it as it is for now. Brighton has got the 20 spot, says Isaac Whelan.
Wow. Yeah, that's $20. I'm going to look up the Premier League standings here.
Sean from Chicago says, your man Ewan's stash game is strong as fuck. It is.
I was just saying to the man formerly known as Eddie that if we're going to live in 1984, I'm gonna look like it's 1984. Rudy Schenker, Scorpion.
Rudy, wasn't it Mickey Schenker?
No, Rudy.
Was the two of them
Mickey and Hardy books? But no, he was Rudy Schenker in East Germany.
Rudy Schenker.
East Germany.
Wasn't too many. Yeah.
I read an interesting article about why in the Bundesliga all the good teams happen to be on the west side of the country, and they say it's because of what was going on when East and West Germany were split. Obviously, that a lot more teams to the west had better funding, and that's why they were able to.
Yeah, they were sponsored by McDonald's, Sony, and Heineken.
Or Wolfsburg, the team of Volkswagen.
Wolfsburg, yeah, was that actually?
They're owned by Volkswagen, so they basically came from Hitler's factory.
It's funny, like when you look at Volkswagen, how woke they've become, especially during it was quite annoying during the last Euros, just all of the billboards of cashing in on Pride, to the point where it's like, it was Pride Week, now it's Pride Month. Fuck it, we'll give you a decade of Pride if you'll just fucking leave us alone then. And I don't mean that to be controversial, but someone would be like, but it's just like
wokeism, gets me going. I just can't.
Yeah, and that's why you were invited on here because what I was saying about so you had Volkswagen that was started by Hitler, and they're now as woke as can be. It's the same thing about like when
it started by Hitler.
Yeah, but it's the same when you look at Occupy Wall Street, which was obviously against Wall Street. And they're now championing all of these floats during Pride Week with like Goldman Sachs and
it's all marketing. It's horrific until you can profit from it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the same with COVID, climate change. Now, not denying either of those things, but it is absolutely one of those things. Until you can put your brand on the side of it, it's fucking wonderful.
Oh yeah, but look, it's great optics. It's I saw a video recently of Greta saying.
Yeah.
Build back better. Blah blah blah
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that, Martin, I'm going to put
And I was
that
like, fair play to Greta, man.
What age is she now?
She's about 27.
No way. She's 15.
Is she? I don't know. I mean, she's been around forever. I mean, I think
that's what I mean.
I still think I did more with my kind of mid-teens than she did.
It probably did. So you're from Athy, Ewan, which is West Kildare.
Really?
South Kildare, yeah, the kind of French
Kildare.
Riviera of Kildare. In fact, the last time I was home for the first time in a year and a half, I got thrown out of a pub I used to drink in, and the barkeep's last words to me were, if people listen to you, there'd be no tourism around here. Why can't you be more like Ryan Tuberty? Describe it as a wonderland, seemingly.
Yeah, well, Tuberty, he will say what needs to be said.
He will.
For the coin.
I mean, it amuses me how people would, rather than make things better, they'd rather have a crap and be told it's better by bullshitters.
I was going to say we should get Dwayne Durkan into the mix here. Dwayne is a great man for the horses. He knows a thing or two, and we could bring him in to enrich the stream with his knowledge. Dwayne, it's there if you need it. The link is there, mate. You've been on before. You played up blinder. So all are welcome. I was seeing if Jay Daly, who's on the United stand, football teams wise, Ewan, in terms of the Premier League. Look, I know it's all franchises. It's basically McDonald's versus Carlsberg at this stage. But if you had to pick one, what's your Premiership side?
I grew up a Chelsea fan, and I left them when Abramovich took over.
Really?
Yeah, the blood money came in.
I was delighted they finally won the Champions League just because of nostalgia. But I mean, I moved to Brazil in 2010, and I've been a Cruzeiro season ticket holder for 13 years now, and here in Portugal.
Oh wow!
Like Sunday, I'll go and I'll see my 4th division local Portuguese team. And football changed for me in that when I moved, it was about an experience of making friends that I couldn't normally, and they'd be delighted in Brazil that this Irish guy who didn't have a lick of the language was coming down and wearing the jersey, and they'd give you food and beer, and you made friends that way. So it became a much, much bigger thing. Now, geez, I ended up being kidnapped off a bus one night because of it. But another story. Oh yeah, but that's football in South America. But it's passionate stuff. But that's what it became. It was more. So even now, I mean, I've all the bloody channels here legally.
You got the dodgy box, have you? Or
I have a dodgy box. And do you know what I watch? Like on Sunday, I can't wait till the darts starts. I won't watch the Premier League. I'll watch the Grand Prix of darts are going to start back up.
Really?
Dwayne, you're a great man for the darts. Please welcome 26 plus 6 equal 1. Dwayne Durkan. A man, Dwayne.
When you're talking about darts, though, you have to get me involved in the darts conversation. That has to be happening.
It is the king of sports. It's the last true, pure sport.
What about bowling?
Lawn bowls? Or some of your Yank stuff?
Some of the Yank stuff, man. Some Kingpin stuff.
Sorry.
Do you remember that guy who was like the guy in Kingpin who used to shout like a lunatic?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He goes nuts. That bigger guy, right?
Is he still with us? Yeah, he kind of went mad. I think he did.
No, what happened was, when I was in my about early 20s, I decided I was going to be a professional darts player, and I dedicated my whole life to playing darts 6 hours per day. I found out how many hours professional darts players practice on the dartboard. So I said, they practice about 6 or 7 hours per day. So I'm going to go for that amount of hours. And I went for it, even though I had no pedigree. Like, there was no indication that it could possibly happen. But I said, I'm still going to fucking do it. I'm still going to go for it. And I said, fuck this. And I wouldn't give in. And I kept going for years and years. And I completely failed abysmally. It was a horror show disgrace. But I gave it a go anyway.
Did your addition based on your name let you down?
In what way?
Well, I mean, did you try and hit 1 when you were on double 16?
No. My mathematics wasn't the problem. It was my my left was I couldn't get to a finish. Never mind, fucking work it out when I got there.
Were you drinking enough?
I probably wasn't drinking substantially the amount I drink nowadays, and that's
Well,
probably
you
what
might
let
be
me
better
down.
nowadays then. Less practice, more drinking seems to be the key to a good darts player.
Maybe I should have had
most of it's based on luck.
pork pies. I was eating too healthy. You see, I was eating fucking lettuce and tomatoes and bananas, where I should have probably eaten pork pies, kebabs, and fucking maybe onion relish from fucking I don't know.
Ballymaloe.
Ballymaloe country relish.
This is where you went wrong.
Was there a nonce? Was there a bit of noncery going on down there in the relish factory?
Oh no. Well, you see, I'm from Clippers, so there probably was something like that going on, but I wasn't partaking. That's how to carry on. But
why not? Were you alone, or
anything that was on that was a bit seedy probably did happen in the town I'm from. But unfortunately, thank God I wasn't involved.
No, we were talking about the relish, Ballymaloe relish, great relish. There was some noncery happening.
I'm trying the oven off. I have a fucking sandwich on. Give me 1 second.
I better turn the oven off.
Hey, what's going on in Ballymaloe relish?
I'm not gonna lie.
Do you remember there was one of the?
Lie to you. As an American man here, 26 plus 6 equals 1's accent is rough. It's rough to fight through that one. Where are you
it's
from?
rough for us too.
I'm from the West era.
He's in the same town as me.
No way.
Actually, it was through Dwayne that we got stateside into the Hardy Books. Isn't that right, Dwayne?
Wow.
Tom.
Put Tom on. Put Tom in.
Do they know about stateside the other day taking a dump on the live stream with us?
He's gone. Lost him. He'll be back. He'll be back.
Who took a dump on the live stream? What have I become involved in here?
We didn't even know stateside was in the bathroom. It was one of the funniest things I've ever. Like, it was so funny. I was dying laughing. Martin was even like cracking up too. Stateside, like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just in the bathroom there. Oh, it was so funny.
It was. I don't think he. I mean, if he did, he took a stealth deuce without anybody knowing.
Well, he was so pissed then too, because we didn't hear that.
Ooh, he could. If that was in Spain, he could go to court.
Really?
For indecency.
Sorry, Martin. Can I say one thing? Yes. If you don't mind.
Sorry, Martin, I lost you there. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear.
Sorry, what's your man's name at the bottom right?
Ewan. He's a sports journalist based in Portugal.
Can I say one thing to Ewan?
Go on.
He mentioned Ryan Tuberty as being a yes man, kind of a person who, has a certain way of going about things that is not necessarily the right way of going about things. And I have a problem with Ryan Tuberty myself, so I'd love to get involved in this discussion about Ryan Tuberty. Could we have a couple minutes about Ryan Tuberty, if you don't mind?
Why not?
Well, I think I was one glass of beer before where I am now when I said that. I'd like to update this. I think he is probably the most spineless weasel indoctrination of the Irish culture, and he's everything that's wrong with Montrose, Dublin, Irish journalism, and beyond.
This is food for my soul because I hate Ryan Tuberty. So the more you say bad about Ryan Tuberty, the more happy I feel, because I have a problem with Ryan Tuberty for years.
What's he done to you, Dwayne?
No, I just feel he's got double standards. I feel he decides who he
has no standards.
When he interviews people, he decides on the night whether he behaves admirably or he behaves despicably. And he behaved admirably towards Arlene Foster, and he behaved despicably towards Michelle O'Neill. And everyone with a brain could see that on the night when it happened. And his behavior was absolutely disgraceful. And he shouldn't be down.
He did the same with the leaders. He had Micheál Martin on. He said, "Isn't it wonderful to have you here?" Leo Varadkar, he did very similar. And then he said, when Mary Lou McDonald came out, whatever your politics, she was the most voted for, or her party was the most voted for at the last election.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when he introduced her, he said, many people might not like you here, but we're glad to have you.
Yeah, but that's the thing. The thing about you, Ewan, is because you said to me you were trying to have a pub because your opinions were too real for the people in the pub to be able to accept.
Well, I think they didn't like me, but
no, but I can get where you're coming from. Basically, did you ever hear Alex Belfield?
No.
Yes.
From England. He kind of speaks the truth, and they keep trying to shut him down continuously because they're afraid if too many people come out with the same opinion which is factually correct, but the unspeakable truth, then what happens is we have problems.
Well, there's
And
that,
they're-
but there's other people who claim the truth then, and they claim they're shut down, and they're probably rightly shut down, and that they think Bill
Right.
Hicks wants to put something in your granny if you get vaccinated.
No, but Alex Belfield though hasn't been going down that sort of road. No, he speaks respectfully about everyone. If you actually listen to his stuff, he actually is fairly good. I like him anyway.
No, a lot of people are, and I mean, you see it in America. I mean, I look at CNN. I abhor Fox. I think they're appalling. But then people think CNN are some bastion of truth. They are as bad as Fox. They're an absolutely appalling news organization. And that gobshite Donny is all over the place now in Ireland because he's a bit of a. He goes out and takes the. He's, Donny, the Irish journalist on CNN, he kind of goes out to the field and he took the piss out of Trump supporters. Like the easiest, most lazy job in journalism. And they'll go, "Oh, you get out of here, Irishman." And he'll go, "No, I'm going nowhere." And everyone thinks this is hilarious. I mean, this is what's passing. And now he's on the big chat shows in Ireland. He's getting his own show on the national broadcaster off the back of this.
Handy fucking dollar.
Handy dollar, and he's called a celebrity journalist. His biggest story actually was he claimed at the time that Russia tried to interfere with the Trump election. Now, I've no time for Trump, nor with Biden, but that story actually turned out to be false. But sure, that doesn't matter. 3 years later, give him an old gig on the telly.
I don't trust neither Fox nor CNN nor any of these mainstream channels because at the end of the day, it's like politics. They're all, our right honourable opposition, and then later on they're all hanging out in the bar, chatting, going, "Oh, good one, you got me earlier on."
Well, there's no. Do you know what, Martin? There's no. I've been listening to a great series.
Two cheeks of the same arse, Ewan.
Well, they are, but I've been listening. Brilliant series, right? But you go back through history. You go to Gaddafi. You go to Dr. VA and Haiti.
Great man.
They were always supported when it suited by both East and West.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Gaddafi had obviously Blair later, but in the early years he had people over. Papa Doc de Villiers in Haiti, he used to bathe with the heads of his enemies around him while wearing a top hat, thinking he could get into their skulls. And Kennedy supported him for this because communism seemingly was more dangerous.
There's no head case.
There's no right or wrong. There's no good or bad. There's no evil. Is
he the head case who was living in Harlem when he was arrested and the whole?
No, he died. His son was Baby Doc, who might have been. But Papa Doc would have been there. Papa Doc died.
Papa Doc from 8 Mile. Papa Doc.
So was there a Papa Doc in 8 Mile in Detroit?
Yeah.
That project still exists nowadays.
Probably the first Detroit man who's been less evil than.
Did you guys happen to see Eminem opened up a restaurant called Mom Spaghetti, and he was selling spaghetti and spaghetti sandwiches this week?
How original!
American culture is fucking weird, isn't it?
It's the number one export from America is our culture. Everybody.
I know, that's why we don't like you. Keep it.
I don't like you. I don't like us.
Oh, behave.
other than hard rock and professional wrestling, you can fucking leave the rest, man.
Rob fucking Alaska from fucking Canada. The Rob Alaska from Canada.
The Rob Alaska. Oh no, they bought it for $1.
Rob Alaska from Canada. That was pure robbery.
Yeah.
The Russians sold it for $1.
They bought New Amsterdam for like $20.
I know what they did, but now come on now. They got it at a cheap price now compared to what it's worth.
Well, I can't understand how they would bought if they bought that for $1. I mean, how did that happen? I mean, look at all the oil up in Alaska, and look at all the natural resources.
This was before the discovery of oil, and I don't think it was $1.
Before they realized the value of what they had in front of them.
Sure, America at this stage may as well just buy Ireland.
To a proposal from the Russian minister in Washington, Edward de Stokey, to purchase Alaska for $7.2 million in 1867.
Oh, shitload of money.
Look at that bottle of beer that Ewan has there now. Ewan, can you send out a small bit of that through the system there?
Is that super
I thought we might be on it is, and I bought a litre bottle and I bought 4 more of them in the fridge on my way home cycling.
Proper job. Cannot beat a good drunk cycle. It really makes
it look at times when you wake up with a few nicks and bruises and you're not sure which hedge you came into.
Ewan, where are you based? In Lisbon?
Just outside Porto.
Ah, so you're northwest.
North Portugal. Yeah.
I never met you. You're up in Nazaré, are you?
I would be Nazaré be an hour outside Lisbon, an hour and a half south from here, so they'll be nearly halfway.
Have you seen the big wave surfing down there?
I haven't been down at all. We got stuck with COVID here because, like, Brazil would be more home for me, far more than here.
Where are we going to go in Brazil? Rio.
Belo Horizonte. Be about an hour flight. A small city of 5 million people.
Oh, wow! A small little village.
That's bigger than Boston.
It'd be like Longford of Brazil.
We went to a game, myself and my friend, for my bachelor party before I got married to a Brazilian in Boston. We flew out.
What?
It was actually the All-Ireland. It was 2012, and I should say I remember that because it was when I got married. But it was Donegal, Mayo, the All-Ireland final on the Sunday. And we went to see the Red Sox one night.
2012, wasn't it?
It was. We went to see the Red Sox one night, and we went down to Fenway just to see what it was. And my friend isn't a big sports fan, but he's about 10 years older than me, and the two of us looked the worse for wear. We got down to Fenway anyway. And we bought the tickets. They were playing the Orioles. I think there was no chance of either of them making the playoffs that year. We queued for beer. We queued for really, really expensive beer.
Yeah,
we got to the top of the queue.
It's like $12 for a pint.
Well, it would have been, except he asked us for fucking ID.
Prices.
You have to show your ID at Fenway. They're very strict about it. And
we had to go back to the hotel. We missed the first 6 innings to get back in to buy a beer for a fucking $12.
Yeah, the Red Sox have the highest prices for beer and concessions in all of Major League Baseball because they have.
Why do you need an ID? Fuck the price.
Well, because there's a bunch of young kids, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, can you not tell that these two grizzly old men look in their 40s? I mean, surely there's some sort of discretion.
Even if it's an out-of-state ID, they might not accept it. So they're very strict there.
Fuck the Red Sox. Excuse me.
Come on now. Easy.
No, they're gone. They're gone. No, I can never follow a team who charge a man in his 30s $12 while looking for his ID. They're gone. They're my bad.
The reason it's so expensive is because they have the smallest stadium in MLB. Smallest stadium, so they got to make their money back. But I mean, it's owned by the same guy that owns Liverpool.
That's
John
right.
The Gillette brothers.
John Henry is his name.
No, the Gillette brothers are the Patriots.
No, that's Robert Kraft. But Gillette Stadium is where they play, but he doesn't own.
Your man who owns Liverpool owns Viacom, doesn't he?
John Henry is his name.
Irish lad, is he?
He owns Fenway Roush Racing, and he owns a big racing team as well. He owns the Boston Globe. He owns a bunch of shit. Christ.
How did he make his money? Through kind practices and treating the working man.
Sure he did.
Don't the Glaziers own Tampa Bay Lightning and
Man United?
Yeah.
And the Lightning and the Bucks are both champions.
Yeah, they are.
It's funny because United fans seem to expect United just to be at number one all the time. And there's someone had put a tweet out about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying like, "Oh, he's doing an all right job." And it's like well, you've had Mourinho, you've had 4 or 5 people since Alex Ferguson left.
Oh, it's Van Gaal,
yeah. But the thing is, Alex Ferguson trained up the squad. They all came through the academy, and they had a great pedigree of players that were familiar and they were at home in Man United. They had a great chemistry. Like that kind of thing only comes around every couple of decades, and it's just like this sense of entitlement that United should be at the top of the Premier League. No holds barred all the time, and
I agree. I'm a Man United fan out of all the soccer squad. I mean, Ronaldo's
isn't that the modern sports fan, though?
Say again?
Isn't that the modern sports fan? I mean, most of them just follow whoever's winning as if it's a brand, be it Coca-Cola or Pepsi, be it Chanel or Gucci, be it Man United or Man City. I mean, they just expect we're winning.
But I suppose Man City were down in League One a couple of years ago, and United were at the top of the table. There was 2 divisions apart, and you're thinking, oh, why is Man City passing us out when we should be kind of be able to hold our own? And it's the same thing over in Scotland, which Celtic and Rangers. Like Rangers were basically finished. Like the club was nearly gone, and suddenly they're passing Celtic out again. Like how do these things happen all of a sudden? Obviously, there's mismanagement in United and there's mismanagement in Celtic to allow these teams that are basically finished to pass you out.
I used to wear a Rangers jersey to school, by the way.
One of those lads.
I was in a tie, kind of where we
I'd say
we
look
didn't
very,
even elect a Sinn Féin councillor. We
sexy.
elected a real Sinn Féin councillor.
Do you know? Remember Jeffy around town? He would do it in Tyson.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah.
Yeah, and they would just wear like Rangers hats and I'd be like, but my mate Rod's mate Davino he lives up near Strabane in like Finn Harps, what's Balbuffet, and he was walking around wearing a Rangers jersey up there, not because he supports Rangers, just because he likes being provocative. So,
that's ballsy and Ballybuffet,
Yeah.
But what's weird about that dynamic is I could wear an Ireland 32 fucking hat around the south of Ireland and I could get annoyed, which is kind of weird because, like, why wouldn't I want a 32 County Ireland no matter what part of Ireland I'm from? You know what I mean? I know what you mean, but what you're saying, in Strabane, he might get more conflict than you might get in certain parts of Ireland. But say that
we've had it easy.
If I went to Galway and wore a hat and it said one island, one Ireland, 32 counties, and had the Irish outline of the country, I'd get bothered there in Galway. What I would love?
I'd love to get like a Reebok NFL style shirt, right, with "Chuck Your Law" written in like some sort of like Celtic style, like like a regal font, so that it'd be like a mix, like Black Forest mixed with Celtic font, and 32 on the back of it, and just like, I don't know.
Martin, you may be giving merchandise idea to the Celtics I was telling you about earlier.
Fuck it, man. If you do, I'm copyrighting it now.
All you're doing is pointing out the obviousness of the situation. Like, that's what it should be anyway in the first place. There shouldn't be any conflict there. Like, you shouldn't have to prove a point that's already established.
But that's kind of 1970s, hold each other's hands and dance around the campfire stuff.
There's 32 counties in Ireland. It's a fact. The Ireland one.
Or as Norm MacDonald said to Sarah Silverman, it sounds like an awful lot like fucking commie gobbledygook. Man. Norm MacDonald, what a funny bastard, man. Still a trap for Norm. Have you spent much time in the States, Ewan?
A good bit. I'm going to go over now again. I'm hoping in January. I'm working on a new book over there with Floyd Landis, the cycling. Or the cycling. That it bodes well for my writing ability. The cyclist. We're going to call it "Everything's as Fucked as Cycling" is the title of the book. So I'm hoping to spend 6 weeks over there. I've been over and back for I spent with Jesus Christ, Martin. I for the McGregor book. Do you know the way people say, "Oh, weekend in Vegas" or "long weekend in Vegas," and you see it in all these sitcoms and kind of Friends or Charlie Sheen and whatever his last one was.
It's a depressing place, Vegas, man.
I spent 22 nights running in Vegas.
Jesus, man.
And would you believe I never saw the Hoover Dam? I never saw the Grand Canyon. I never got outside of Vegas. I didn't even gamble.
It's just a big hole. You're not missing much.
Well, I spent 22 days there and I saw nothing. I laid one bet. 22 days wandering around drunk in Vegas.
Vegas, anything more than 4 or 5 days is too much.
For one day, I've done 22 bets.
I lasted 2 days there and I was glad to get out of there, man. I was glad to go back to LA.
I remember coming back to the hotel one night about 14 nights in, and I said that your woman saw me every night coming in, and I'd never had a customer for this long. And like, young, my age, relative middle-aged, then say. And she said, "Sir, would you like anything?" And I said, "Yeah, can you take my shoelaces and my tie off me?" And she looked at me, "Yeah, we can do that, sir." Like fucking robotic stuff. There's no humor out of anyone in your service industry there. I mean, it's just
no humor. No. I met a really nice girl called Bianca who was a resident. She was born and raised in Vegas, and she was like a single mother who was working in one of these Johnny Rockets in the strip. She was really cool. She was nice, but I was just like, how the fuck can you live in Vegas, man? Like
I don't know.
like I said, 2 nights. I was society. It was everyone was just out to do you. Everyone wanted your money.
But I suppose it's kind of with so much.
Anything more than 4 days in Vegas is way too much because then you just start to lose track of time when everything's open all the time. It's just too much.
But I started going out, and you know what? I love this show, and I know it's as fake as anything, and I disagree with reality TV. Bar Rescue with Big John Taffer.
Bar Rescue, yeah.
And he goes into these kind of dive bars, like maybe 40 blocks from the strip. And I was kind of in those sort of places eventually.
Oh, nice. Well, that'd be better than being anywhere on the strip. Because I think the strip is like La Rambla in Barcelona.
You're gonna go to Fremont Street. Fremont Street, Old Vegas.
That was cool. Up the Flamingo.
Yeah.
I went down. I have a video on Fremont Street, and I don't remember taking the video of paragliding down the street at about 4 o'clock one morning. Fremont Street was way better than the strip. Yeah,
the Old Vegas it's fun, but it's a little wild down there. Every time I go to Fremont Street, someone ends up throwing up next to me. I don't know why.
That's not wild. That's bloody breakfast.
It's Temple Bar on a Wednesday evening.
All these homeless dudes just pissing on the street, though. It's crazy.
But you wouldn't mind if the show is not factually correct, as long as it proves like good value for, like, enjoyable entertainment value. Like, look at hardcore porn, which all the crowd.
I walked there for 2 miles in the sun.
Porn.
You talk about the smell of piss on Fremont Street. I went in their shitty little shop because I loved that thing. I went to Gold and Silver Pawn. And this tiny little shop out the queue. There's nothing in it. There's nobody there. And it stinks.
Detroit.
There was
no. Oh, you're the Detroit one. Oh, that's hardcore.
There's a lot of bail bond places.
Hardcore porn. Yeah, another one.
The boys from Pawn Stars are all meth heads too.
Big Chum was anyway.
Mm-hmm. Oh, them boys.
And his son was too. I forget his son's name.
No, I thought it said
Corey.
Hardcore porn.
But the hardcore porn was the Detroit one.
I'm on. Yeah, Detroit. That's what I'm on about. Detroit. Yeah.
But that one was so. Do you remember? That was kind of degrading that they pay some homeless black woman to come in and make a scene.
Yeah, it was. Now it did. If you watched a lot of it, like, you kind of realize the falseness of it. But it was a bit of crack. Like, it was a bit of crack.
With an I or just CK.
Free boost.
I know, it was funny. I found it kind of humorous. I found it kind of humorous, my friend. No, I don't know.
The misery of the black people of Detroit pawning crap TVs and lawnmowers, you found humorous.
Well, that's what I said. We can't say it all of the time.
But that's the CK, Owen. That's the CK right there.
My God. Am I bringing the Tony or of your TV channel down?
Your YouTube channel?
I wouldn't be. You're fucking bringing it up.
Wow,
I was watching a
Maloney's hairline. That's rough.
What can you do? It's fucking when it's gone, it's gone. There's no point in fucking crying about it. Just as Joe Rogan would say, grow a beard and start lifting.
Yeah, you got to do the Dave Portnoy though and get some plugs in there.
Yeah,
I like Joe Rogan.
If I won them beers, I'm fucking 5. The fucking size of that fucking bottle is like a bottle of wine. It's the size of a bottle of wine, but it's only a beer.
It's what's known as in South Central, it's known as a 40.
Yeah, I was about to say, you just need a brown paper bag, put it in there, you get your 40.
You should be fucking hiding.
I ate the brown paper black.
Well, that's going to cause constipation issues, sir.
I like Joe Rogan. I don't agree with him, but I like him.
I had coming live here in 8 days. Tickets are only like $60. I might have to go see him.
He amuses me. Like I don't agree you should take ivermectin, but also I don't agree with it being described as a horse tranquilizer when it's used for loads of other stuff. I've no idea if it's any good for COVID. He went and took it with COVID just to piss people off.
He said he had a doctor prescribe it to him and everything, and so if he did,
he winds people up. And there's a lot of people who need winding up.
A serious question here, lads. Graham Russell asks, Desperate Scousewives or Brookside?
I don't even know what that means.
I know what Brookside is, and I bet the Desperate Scousewives were kind of hot. So I'm going to go with Desperate Scouse wife.
See,
I've never seen it.
Brookside started off.
So we're from Brookside.
Brookside started off as a hard-hitting Scouse drama devised by Phil Redmond in the 80s that covered like socio-economic tough times. And then what happened was about 20 years later, it jumped the shark by having like basically you'd have Outbreak would be out in the cinema, and the writers like, what about there's an outbreak on the Close and Bing Crosby's bird gets fucking killed by like a weird Ebola type virus, but it's not going to kill any of the main characters, just like the side ones. And then it was brilliant. And apparently it culminated in the climactic episode of someone shooting a police helicopter out of the sky, which crashed into the local petrol station, and everyone fucking died.
Did it end?
I think it was the end of that, yeah. There was
you see, the problem is Home and Away has followed the same trend every week since Brookside has disappeared. So someone nearly dies every week in Home and Away, and occasionally one of them has to die because it would look false otherwise. But
well, you know what? Like, I tell you one thing: Weatherfield in Coronation Street, Walford in EastEnders probably have to be some of the highest rates of homicide in the entire UK.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's just so many people are dying in murders and just fires, and it's just. Sparky says he misses Brookie. Yeah, it'd be nice if they brought it back with like all the original characters like Max Farnham and.
But I'm sure, Martin, that wouldn't be a continuation because they all died in the plane crash.
Oh, yeah.
So you couldn't bring them back.
Maybe they did the Ouija
kind of
board.
a spirit dream, like those American daytime dramas.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
A dream all died.
What was Sunset Beach? That used to Sunset Beach. I remember it used to be on after Jerry Springer anytime I was in school and I'd be off. It would be on TV3, so you get like Jerry Springer, Jerry's Final Fight. And then it would be Sunset Beach. And Sunset Beach would always be like the pretenses to a scene in a porno. You know what I mean? It was like, you'd be like, yeah, here we go. And then it never happens. But yeah, Bobby Ewing in the shower.
They were better days for society.
I think
We've fallen off a cliff since then.
Yeah, I think you're dead right, Ewan. I think there's too much choice. And there's like, again, pornography is so pervasive that it's hard to define. You are?
You anti-porn?
Am I anti-porn? Well, look, I personally don't. I
know your wife is on your right hand side, or your.
No, it's just something a couple of years ago. I just gave up, and I was just like,
really?
Like, yeah, and then it's just never stopped.
How'd you do it?
You just gotta stop.
Did you just wake up one morning? Hang on, we gotta get to the bottom of this.
No, you just like it's something I stopped doing, man. It's like. It's just a waste of time.
Come on, don't give up on it. It's like the male thing. You have to keep the faith.
What do you do? Are you kind of like rampaging in the bushes looking for kind of prey now, or what?
No, I have sex with an actual woman, and it's great. I have a vibrant sex life.
Jesus Christ!
All
right? What's it like?
Guys over here, humble bragging.
Graham Russell says here, Phil Mitchell has a near-death experience every 2 weeks. Hey, what are you saying? Oi, you mug. Oi, I've fallen out of the sun. Young Ben's been replaced by 3 actors. He's nearly up there with Gail Tilsley's Nicky.
I don't watch soaps. Was he the guy who made those good series about gangs?
Oh, no, that was Ross Kemp. He was Phil Mitchell's brother. I'm here in Norris Green in Liverpool. Tell me this, dodgy guys of Norris Green, what would happen if any of the Croxteth crew were to come round here? Oh, they get fucking dealt with, mate. You know what I mean? They get dealt with. Why? The fucking dead dogs, mate. That's what they are. Fucking dead dogs come round here and rape our birds. So that was on Ross Kemp's gangs in Liverpool.
Yeah, he's the one that had a guy in South America that pulled the gun right to his head, and he was like, "You're not going to do it. Just shoot me now. Just shoot me now." Ross Kemp.
Yeah, that's fairly staged. I had a mate from Northern Ireland who lived in South America he had a sliding doors moment in London, and he ended up living in a favela in a shanty town in Recife because they broke up shortly after.
Ooh.
But he ended up, he was mugged so often. I remember him when he was living in Belo Horizonte. He was teaching English down there. And he was coming out only 6:30 one evening. And a guy put a gun to his head and he started saying in Portuguese, he said, give me your phone, give me your phone, give me what you have. And he was looking in his bag for the phone. And he turned around to him and he said, would you have some fucking patience? But it's so common down there. You're going to, if you spend 6 months down there, you're going to be robbed twice.
Really? In which country?
Brazil.
Oh, wow.
But I hate to say that because I love it. 99.9% of people are the best. You'll have the best barbecues, the best beers, the best women, the best parties, the best everything. And one little thing throws people off, but if you actually hang around long enough, you get used to it.
Yeah, you know, it's like the time I was in Barcelona's a rough town as well. Well, I've only been there once when I was 19, but I remember when I was coming out of the metro and I was coming from, took the night train from Paris, and I remember I in my mind I thought Barcelona was just going to be like Galway in the sun, and it was just going to be really chilled and easy going. And I was reading my Lonely Planet Europe on a Shoestring dangers and annoyances list, and by far it was the most dangerous and annoying place according to where I've been so far. And as I was reading this, I was walking down the Rambla and I see this big fat American honky being accosted by street urchins, and they had this like weird find the card kind of thing, and he just had this guy's in his like late 40s, you know. I as a 19-year-old who'd never been outside the UK or Ireland before,
wow,
I had more sense than him, and I was like, look mate, put your money away, it's gone, get out of there. And he's like, no, I gotta go with my money back. I'm like, fucking. And then as he was like going, I want my 50, and then one of them was going, big belly, fat belly, like this, like slapping him on the belly.
That's kind of admirable.
And he had like, you could tell he was like a typical kind of middle-aged American lad on holiday. He had like really
socks up to the knees.
White socks up to the but he had like, but also the white New Balance shoes, just like big white platforms, man. Like when we were filming the Hardy Bucks film in Amsterdam, this guy walks past and Owen Colgan goes, "Hey mate, are you American?" He's like, "That's right, buddy." I know he was talking. Whereabouts you from? We were talking. I went, "Fucking hell, Collie, how did you know he was American?" He goes, "The shoes, man, they're giveaway."
If you're fucking pure stereotypical American.
Yeah,
he kept it all the way. He had a fucking bump bag as well, and a baseball cap on. San Francisco 49ers on top of the fucking hat.
67ers.
Martin, it's funny that you say the New Balance because that's what Sam was rocking the whole time in Sweden. New Balance.
Yeah, but I mean, look, hey, Chris, look at you, man. You end up getting into a fucking scrap on your first night there, man.
That didn't happen.
No, we won't dwell on that. Like,
no, I already forgot that it happened.
But like the thing is, there is like this is what I love about the States. I was driving about 8 years ago from Orlando to Tampa, and then we were driving down, I think it was like St. Petersburg or Venice, in one of these towns, and I was just listening to some American comedians slagging people off on the radio, and the guy's like, you know, fuck that guy. I was doing a set, and he comes in, fucking ruins my set. You know, he's a cheap son of a bitch. He's a piece of shit. And I ever fucking see him again, I'm going to smack him right in his fucking mouth. And I was like, you'd never hear that in Ireland. If that was in Ireland, they'd be like, oh, yeah, no, I just gave him. He's a great guy. Yeah, great guy altogether. Love him. Yeah, I wish him well. I wish him well. You know, like,
do you find actually up in Boston, I'm fascinated by this because I find New Yorkers, as much as I love New York, I find them absolutely terrifying. And so even after Brazil, I went to Costa Rica and I remember I was staying in a resort and there was kind of these seats in a pool bar. You know, you're kind of sitting in the pool, but you're drinking in the bar. Yeah. And my phone was all smashed. And this woman beside me turned around to me and she said, "What the fuck is wrong with your phone? Why don't the fuck you get that fixed?" And she's from New York. And I just said, well, it works fine for me. And just the aggression out of an absolute. And I remember being in New York 2 or 3 times. It's just traveling. And they're so fucking on top of you.
That's the one thing. So my ex-girlfriend is born and raised down in Orange County in, you know, the southwest of America outside Los Angeles. I'm born and raised north of Boston. And just sometimes the way I talk, she's always like, "Why are you so mad?" I'm like, "No, that's just the way we are. We're a little bit more aggressive up here than the rest of the country." So
funny enough,
angry people.
10 years ago tonight, I was in Manhattan and we were staying at my friend Jeremy's place up on the Upper West Side. And my ex-wife was heavily pregnant with my daughter at the time. I was like, so there's just been this huge thunderstorm. We were hanging out with a friend of ours called Rory over there, and we were walking across the street, and it was like something you'd hear from just like a backing track of a generic film. It's like, beep, beep, hey, I'm fucking walking here. Hey, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you too, buddy. You know, I was just like, this is fantastic. And, you know, she'd never been to America before. She's like, wow, it sounds exactly like it does in the films. So that's the cool thing about when you're in New York, though, because you're just walking around, it's like being in your own movie. Like when I was there in 2006, I was desperate to get into Manhattan. And we met, like, some guys who a friend of mine, Matt, was working with for Barnes & Noble, doing this book club thing. He was a comedian on, and he invited us to... what's it called? The Upright Citizens Brigade, which was real. The jokes. So I went in there alone. I remember walking up Fifth Avenue, listening to Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, being in awe, like looking at the Chrysler building, being like, fuck. But at the same time, trying not to look like a tourist. So if you can imagine, like being like this, walking with purpose at the same time, not looking where you're going. Yes, Dwayne.
Scared?
Who's the most overrated artist of all time? And who's the most underrated?
The four Madonnas and fucking Campbell's Soup.
Campbell's Soup.
Oh, fucking, what's his name?
Studio 51, man.
Perez 316. Perez for president. Thank you, Matt Megalin. Thank you.
Andy Warhol. Was it the
Andy Warhol? Thank you. Yes.
Tell me an actual artist. Come on, please. I don't hear gibberish.
You mean a musician or like a painter? What do you mean?
No, I mean a musical artist.
Overrated musical artist. Lou Bega. Mambo number 5.
Lou Bega.
He's regarded.
Was he rated?
I never thought he'd be rated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Go on, give me someone that
Justin Timberlake.
No, Justin Timberlake. I would have to say like Usher then probably. I think Usher's a bit overrated.
Cisco.
And you'll never get it.
This is a definitive answer.
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, Bob Marley, who?
Bob Dylan is overrated. He's by no means the best songwriter of all time. He's not even in the top fucking 20.
Who says that he is? I've never heard that.
Well, I checked on internet before, and every internet search I go for, best songwriters of all time, he's always number 1.
When like every song goes, it is.
And he's very.
Well, you have to fit it to the time, surely. I mean, we can't.
Wellman, like he's not
music to a certain time.
The ears, is he? He sings songs in a certain manner, but it's not pleasurable for my ears to hear. It's
no, but he was a revolutionary singer.
Yeah, he does. Like there's a certain amount of truth into what he sings, but would my ears enjoy what he's saying? I don't think so.
But is music solely there for your ears to be happy?
No, I'm not saying me necessarily, but I'm saying like in general, like the public. Is he impressive to the public?
I don't
actually, you know, I will be honest with you. Myself and Pete were working for Live Nation in Stockholm, like I think it was like 2008, and Bob Dylan came to do the Uptown tour, and man, it was a fucking terrible gig. Like there was every song sounded the same, and it bled into each other, and you didn't know what song he was singing.
And I saw him in 2007 in Dublin, and his voice was gone, and I had the exact same experience. I actually gave out to my friend who loved him, but that. I won't let that distort
now
what he was.
What I'm saying.
He was milking it at that point.
I made my point, and then you justified it, and that's all I wanted. Thank you very much.
What the Classy Brothers say about him?
I appreciate the fact that you've had bad experiences with a person that's so overrated that it's not even funny, and it's just.
I don't think he was rated for playing Dublin or UK in 2008. I think he was rated for his songwriting ability in the 60s and 70s, and kind of his revolutionary leadership through music.
I know what you mean. Like he probably served a purpose at some stage, but he's
you know, kind of like, you know, like a doorstop.
He's overrated though. The most overrated band of all time.
It's like I'm a big Manic Preachers fan, but the new album is actually well overrated. Like I can't even listen to it barely. Like it's actually not the same standard.
You've gone from Dylan to that.
What
Wait.
about Bon Jovi? I think he's
What?
over.
Yeah.
Actually,
Bon
Yeah,
Jovi is
overrated,
shit. I think you
Yeah.
might have a winner here. Bon Jovi is shit.
Yeah, Bon Jovi and Bon Jovi when even in his lyrics, like like I love like 1980s metal. I love the fucking whole. There's something nostalgic and upbeat and fun about the whole thing. And I was and mustaches, yeah. But like Guns N' Roses, fucking Motley Crue, Warrant, Cinderella, all that kind of stuff. Scorpions. Like fucking White Snake, all that kind of shit. I love it. It's great. But then I was like, maybe I've missed something with Bon Jovi. And then and this is a good fucking 10, 11 years ago. I was like, maybe I'll give Bon Jovi a listen to. And then I listened to Bad Medicine because I remember that being around as a kid. It's like, shake it up, whoa, it's like bad medicine. And in the middle of the song, right, he does this, whoa, 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 whoa. Break it down, whoa, whoa. And I was like, what kind of wank is this like?
What about Grateful Dead and Fish? I don't like that either. Both overrated, I would say.
Grateful Dead have some good tunes, but I don't know what the fuss is about. But then again, I've never given it the time. If something doesn't grab you, like Oasis fucking grabs you right away, boom. It's there's great tunes there. Whereas Grateful Dead, one took over the line. And then is that even Grateful Dead or is that Brewer and Shipley? I don't know. Alan S asks, would you be a fan of the Melvins?
I don't know enough about them.
I love the Melvins. They're my favorite band.
Melvin Brown.
Do you know what I got really into? And it's very, and for the wrong reasons.
Go on.
And it's quite a thing. You could lose hours in it. These reaction videos to music.
Yeah,
and they're always American couples.
Yeah,
I was watching one earlier. Like I went into about 20 or 30 of them. And like
30.
the level of, and they'll stop at 30 seconds. What do you think this is about? Oh, I don't know. This is so interesting. And they'll go another 30 seconds. And like, there was one, for example, Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. And he goes, I turn away from the girls in their colored dresses or whatever. I see the girls in their colored dresses. I turn away. And clearly the song, a minute in, is clearly about him being depressed and everything. And the guy stops the video. Do you think he's a pervert? He can't. And they have this minute-long discussion in the middle of this video about, do you think he can't look at them and, maybe he's a pedophile? And they fucking get into the darkest things. No, he's just depressed.
Oh, man. I won't mention any names, but a good friend of mine rang last night, and he was telling me, he was like, I was listening to fucking News Talk the other day. You want to hear the shite? There was some couple, they ring in, and they were saying like, oh, my boyfriend, he chooses what we watch on TV, what box sets we watch. And I realized, there's an awful lot of female nudity in it. And then, so this letter was rang in, and apparently the guests in the studio were two gay dudes and two women and Sean Moncrief. Sean Moncrief was like the middleman in it all. And they were like, he just said, Is this all we have to listen to on Irish radio? And I was like, I've often been a proponent of Irish radio is some of the most mediocre fucking blood clotting dull shite.
Do you know, Martin, before we came on, I put out a tweet. I actually deleted it because I couldn't be bothered listening to the bullshit from the Irish Radio Awards are on tonight. And just put up, I said, for any of the fucking victors, I said the last 18 months, the real losers are people who've listened to your absolute shite, have been downtrodden by your lies, your propaganda, etc. And I deleted it. And do you know what? Deleting a tweet is somehow a big deal. It's my fucking social media account. I'll put a big cock if I want.
Don't tweet anything you say.
But I mean, these people celebrating victory maskless after absolutely destroying a nation for a fucking year. Well, fuck every one of them.
Yeah, fuck them.
I used to have a habit of every time I got a bit steamed, I used to write something shite on YouTube, and I used to delete the whole lot the next day. But I said fuck it, and I stopped it, and I fucking left the whole lot up since I said no. If I'm gonna say it, leave it there.
Exactly.
The backlash is fucking.
If you're gonna fucking say it, own it. Own what you say.
I know, but I get about like, and I have to fucking, I want to have breakfast with my wife, and I get about 90 emails a morning abusing me from.
Yeah, I saw you. I think you and the first time I came across you on Twitter there was a whole bunch of like just right on fools given out to you because you said that you identified as being a croissant.
I was just taking the. My point was, if anyone can fucking identify as anything, well, I don't. I was looking at my breakfast. I could have identified as the orange juice, but if do you know these fuckers that I identify as this, I identify that. These fucking and usually, excuse me, but if your culture will transfer, but they are American liberals with fuck all else.
Oh yeah, that's where all this shit came out of the fucking Frankfurt School. Henry Mercury's.
Are you
nonsense?
Brigade?
Huh? No, what I would say is, right, if these fuckers have so little else to do in the world than put TikTok videos and YouTube videos and Instagram videos of how they feel insulted because people don't gender them correctly. If they're so into genders, send them off on a big ship to Kabul.
Exactly.
Let's put them let's see them fight for rightly gay and lesbian rights and trans rights in fucking Afghanistan and other places. Let these fuckers work for it.
I had the same thought, man. Like, just be like, okay, you know what? Go where it's needed the most.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny, no one ever talks about Saudi Arabia's, the fact that women can't even drive alone. The fact. I mean,
it
seems to be a mutually.
Women can drive now.
Well, look, I'd say women can't go to the pub and have a pint.
No, they
you know
can't.
what I mean?
No one alcohol is banned.
What are this in them particular countries? What are they scared of? Are they scared of powerful women? Are they scared of women with a brain or a bit of an opinion? What are they scared of?
But aside from that, what are these liberal TikTok people who identify as a fucking hyacinth?
Women without, I don't want you to get educated. Oh, you can't get educated. You're a woman. Oh, you can't get strong because you're a woman. You can't be fucking intelligent. You can't be fucking strong. You can't be fucking this, that. It's funny. You can't be nothing. What? I
will not agree with this.
Women,
I
fucking
just
funny
told,
women.
Cowboy to get in here too, boys. But
it's a fucking farce. They're a fucking farce. That's the deal.
You ask why no one's making
anything
a big
that's
deal.
actually affecting their fucking masculinity. It's actually
no, I wouldn't be on it for that now. I believe in absolute equality. But I just believe the idea of
why are they scared of women in a powerful sense?
But I don't. This is too deep.
They want women
That's
to
what
kind
she
of
said.
bow down. Well, bow down will be a doormat to you.
The Taliban.
Oh, why don't you fucking rule the roost? Why can't women
the Taliban? The Taliban
shag young boys.
And said that
they have
they're scared of women with an opinion. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think they're scared at all. I think that
women can't even get an education because there's so many men with.
Speaking of women's education, the Taliban just put out that they're going to allow female students at Kabul University, but the teachers have to be behind a sheet. They have to be behind a sheet to teach them. No, you're not listening. They're to be behind a sheet to teach them. The man can't look at the woman in the class.
Sounds like COVID.
Why would that be, I wonder?
All right, geez, because that's what Wahhabism...
Actually aroused during the teaching experiment in science class.
No, but it is back to the initial
I go for a quick
thread.
Beer. Hang on.
Get me one when you're at it, though. Do you want? But the thing is, right, with it's just basically splitting hairs at this point. There's I think we live in a very free society, and it'd be nice to keep it that way, and there's an awful lot of fucking moaning going on, and ultimately it's people lack nuance and a sense of humor. Having a good sense of humor, has taught me through the hard times in life. Having a good sense of humor and being able to laugh at the situation. Otherwise, you'd be fucking broke. You'd break it. You have to. I've been through a lot of heartbreaking situations, and the thing that gets you through it is having a good laugh. And that's why I think comedy is so important. And that's why, for me as a comedian, I kind of rail against. My default setting is to go against anything that tells me I have to do something. It's for me. I can't follow the rules, and I don't mean any harm to anyone. I'm all about the good vibes and having a good time. But like when people arbitrarily say I can and can't do something, I'm like, nah. I'm gonna find a way to do it, and in the name of good vibes, man. Good vibes. How are you, Johnny?
How's the
lad, Johnny?
There's a nice bit of tongue and groove there, a nice bit of V-Lux action in the back.
Johnny, man, how are you getting on? I'm trying to say, how are you? What's the story? How's things? It's been a while. It's been a while. I'm trying to get the light behind me. I'm trying to turn it. You can see me moving it around. I'm trying to get it right because I don't want to be.
I'll tell you something, Johnny. You're doing all right for yourself, man. You're doing all right for yourself.
Yeah, how are you getting on? I'm listening for a while. There's a lot of crazy debates going on here. A lot of crazy debates going on here tonight.
I'm sure that's what expected on a Friday night.
Brigade, the radio awards. What else have we got? We're talking about
most overrated musician of all time, Bob Dylan.
Yeah, as well. The underrated people, overrated people.
No, we didn't get to underrated. Who's the most underrated? I
don't know because I was actually trying to think.
Eddie Vedder.
It depends on so much.
No, he's overrated. He is rated. He is rated.
Eddie Vedder. Eddie Vedder, should I say?
I have that. You know the song 10 Spots. Now, that's my alarm clock. That's my alarm clock every morning to get up for work. That's a very underrated song.
From the Cribs, Man's Knee.
There's a video somewhere of Martin jumping into the ocean with that song playing from my first day in Sweden. I don't know who has it though, but I'll try and track it down.
I was going
actually hilarious.
This is a question to Ewan from Graham Russell. All right there, Graham, mate. He said, "What are your thoughts on Never, Ewan?"
A big fan.
You know what? It's
caught me off guard last night with 2 questions. Jesus, I can't do this one again.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing, right? About Ireland versus Sweden. Sweden's fully open again, man. It's just fucking and to be honest with you, there wasn't really an awful lot.
Never really been closed, have you?
No, it wasn't even closed. Yeah, when I was there, it was the same.
I wrote an article, Martin, and I went back to Ireland for the first time in 19 months.
Did you feel like a time traveler from the past who's just landed back?
No, it never. The arse had been torn out of it. Like there was 14 pubs left in my town. 2 of them were open. One of them you had to sit amongst plexiglass screens. The other one I was thrown out of because I complained about Neffet. I went to the west of Ireland. And I ended up in a bar, and we had to have a secretive lock-in one night, which is the best one I've had in years. Actually,
I'd say it was.
Until about 4 o'clock in the morning in Portumna.
Now you're talking my language, my friend.
You know, I mean, but this is what you had to do, and this was. It wasn't just illegal. This like a lock-in was always illegal. This was seriously illegal stuff.
I assume
people have gone mad.
Do you hear this shit, man? Sparky's just saying, Geldof getting lauded for being 70 on Late Tonight.
Yeah, they gave a full 2.5 hour thing for him. All his mates and everything. Ryan Tuberty had his penis out.
Who had the rant about Ryan Tuberty earlier on? That was something else you had a topic about.
No, the problem was he spoke disgracefully to Neil on the Late Show, and I have to speak about it because anybody with a brain could see. If you look back at the interview, the way he spoke to Michelle O'Neill about
who's Michelle O'Neill?
Leader of Sinn Féin in Northern Ireland.
Aspiring to get United Orange was an absolute fucking disgrace. And you know what? I
sense you're a bit of a unionist.
Group. So you'd imagine if he's got a Republican background, he wouldn't speak so disgracefully towards a Republican, associate. Like she's not a leader. She's involved.
They're hardly hardliners anymore. You know what I mean? They've been watered down to fuck.
Should be the same.
Well, he's been watered down on his life. He's an RTA because if he had an opinion, he wouldn't be allowed in RTA because he's a yes man.
Not the same fucking Sinn Féin I remember. fucking hard lads.
No.
What a fucking Trinity College soft cunts.
Martin, when I moved to Brazil, I watched Hardy Books. I kept one a night, the YouTube original series, because it made me think of home and I was so lost.
Yeah, YouTube series is amazing.
And I've never seen your RTE stuff.
The YouTube ones are the best ones, lads.
Do you know what? I have to say, right? People, you know, it's a difficult one because you got to dance with the girls in the bones and in the barn. And when RT came in, yeah, they did try and, you know, obviously it was a different animal because we were going from shorts to that was complete carte blanche to okay, now the pressure is on to perform on TV. And at the time, we got a lot of stick for the first series, but like I after looking back at the first series, I was watching an episode of it with my neighbor the other day, and I was like, "This is funny as fuck, man!" Like it
was smooth. Even to this day, look, people still talk about it. Lots of people still watch it, including myself. No, lots of people. Everybody knows it. Like, I was driving Skyline the other day. It belonged to a friend of mine, and we drove up the road. And like, any 10 spots, lads, out the window. And the lads know what you're talking about. Like, it's still relevant. And
the boo. Yeah, when he lit up the YouTube series, when the boo was kind of, he was punching stuff and that, like, who's your man in there? You know, in that purple glow.
When I went to Galway, we drove from Dublin out to Galway, and I just bumped into this random dude, and I was like, "Hey, do you know the Hardy Bucks?" And he was like, "Yeah, man, Mitzi Turbos," and he was just going off like people know it. They're like, "How the hell does this weird American guy know the Hardy Bucks?" I was like, "Well, I'm only in Galway because the boys were trying to get up there the whole time."
Do you know what was
genius?
Do you know what I found nice about the Hardy Books, right? I spoke to a guy who was in college, I think it was in Gormanstown or somewhere, or in a boarding school, and they said that all the lads at this boarding school would be allowed to sit up together and watch it in like the main hall on a Monday night, and it was just they had like the greatest laugh going. And then conversely, from one side of the tracks to the other, I spoke to another guy who was in Mountjoy, and they was like, "Man, we used to be allowed fucking out inside like the main bit of the Joy, and the whole prison fucking in tears, laughing." And I was like, it cheered me up to know that.
The funny thing about it that got everybody right, in my opinion, is that's the way it is down the country. With the lads, that's the way the boys go on, and it's brilliant. Like,
Johnny, you're talking
about that's on the crack side, on the crack side. I'm not trying to rip the piss. Like, I'm family from down the country myself, but that's the way the lads go on. And years ago, not as probably much today, but it's kind of you get it. The way they say things, you just get it. Like, it goes with it. You know the crack.
I think it doesn't even matter which country.
We try to go
matter which country you're from, because it's all boys. It's just, you could be American, you could be Sudanese. It's just a story about you and your boys trying to overcome and get out of wherever you're at. That's what makes it so great.
Martin, I presumed you were a Mayo man.
It never
beforehand.
It never looked forced. It just looked.
I am a Mayo man. But,
it nearly looked like there was no script in it. It's kind of just that's the way it went.
No, but I just feel like
that's what's so
Martin and Owen and
I'll go for a quick piss. 1 second.
And the Viper kind of understood what goes on in the countryside. Like, you know, what goes on is there's an awful lot of ignorance, like in the social welfare system. They don't actually. Like, they don't actually do anything proactive to help people get off the dole. They kind of let people languish on the dole for a serious amount of time.
You were
2.5
totally
years.
got off one today. Jesus Christ! Between this and the last.
Easy, guys. One at a time.
Dole myself for a long time, and I got off the dole.
We're talking about Hardy Books
from the Irish government, because the Irish government they create schemes to help people get off the dole, but they're an absolute farce because nobody ever gets off the dole from them. It's all based on what you do yourself, whether you get off the dole or not.
You have to start sending a few 10 spots down.
They're kind of they just kind of create the impression that they're actually proactive in getting people off the dole, but everyone with a fucking half a brain realizes the Irish government never ever took a proactive step in their whole lives to get anyone off the dole. Detect their fucking hole, talk about a lot of fucking shite. They're laughing disgrace. Like they need to wake up and smell the coffee. They're fucking people are dying on their feet. Waiting
Is your surname Healy Ray by any chance?
I don't know. 226.6 equals 1.
You're on a lovely rant tonight. You're on a lovely one tonight. We're attacking the government.
No, I lost my medical card. I'm on
to know about Martin. I'm just fascinated.
Yeah, what we were talking about tent spots and skylines, and then you said the government is not letting us get
I
off.
genuinely want to know where Martin's accent came from and his Mayo, because I didn't know that. I presumed you were a bunch of fellas out Westport or Ballina.
I'm only pissed off because I lost my medical card and I'm on minimum wage, and I should never ever in any civilized country with anyone with a fucking brain running the country lose my medical card and I'm on minimum wage. I'm on $350 a week and I've got no medical card. So if some people don't have a medical card. I don't have a medical card. My country is so depraved that I can't even fucking keep a medical card in a pocket of a man. I can't afford.
But you have $350. You have $350 a week. You can't, like, I understand, but like, there's people worse off, man. There's people losing their houses in this country every day of the week. Families.
And that's the
like,
bit of
medical cards.
They decided they wanted a mansion of a house when they couldn't afford a mansion of a house. It's not necessarily the poorest that are struggling.
Look at this fella doing the striptease for us in the background here. What's going on here?
Right,
boys.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here?
He's getting me fairly randy
here and you're getting your kicked out.
No, give Martin the time.
Johnny,
I want to know. I want to know about Martin and how his accent came about and how long he spent in Mayo. I'm fascinated by this.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Right. So both my parents both my parents are from Swinford in Mayo. They're probably related. And well, the good thing is my grandmother was from Limerick, so it was good for the gene pool. Now the and the bicycle was a great invention for the gene pool as well. But I'm trying to get fucking stateside on for the crack. But,
probably sitting on the toilet again, is he?
You know what? Stateside had some fucking great insights the other night. So the thing is, my parents were both Mayo born and bred. They moved to England because there was fuck all around in the 60s. So
much like Oasis.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, Liam and Noel's mother is basically from the next town. She's in a village between them. So yeah, I always felt like Oasis were like cousins. They were the cousins that did well. You don't really hear from them, you know. And speaking of which, I could ring Paul and see if he wants to come on the chat. So I meant to get him on the chat.
What about Mike? Can you get Mike Cockane in here?
Mike. You know, Mike is with Wim Hof at the moment out in. He's with Wim Hof, the Iceman, the Dutch lad who does be going into fucking cold pools and breathing heavy.
Wow.
And did you go back to do that series, or were you back home when it came about?
Oh, I had to go. I was back and forth doing it, like.
Really? Not the RT one, the YouTube one?
Yeah, we were kind of doing both, really. Yeah, like I've been on and off here in Sweden since 2003. So I'd be live in Ireland and then I'd live here, and I was kind of back and forth the whole time.
What happened with your Republic of Telly skits? Sam was asking me about that.
Which one?
All of them. He was just like all those random skits that Martin used to do with like whatever. It was the Republic of Telly though, right?
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, Republic of Telly, like I had some fucking great ideas for that, but unfortunately, Ireland is the hotbed of mediocrity when it comes to anything. You know, I think, you know, you have to, if you want to make it, you have to get out. You know, and that's not me putting Ireland down, because it's a fantastic country that has produced some of the finest people the world has ever seen. But what it is it's gatekeepers. It's people who they control the narrative, and it's like it's very parochial.
It's not going their way. You're not getting it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, like, look, without blowing my own fucking trumpet here, right? If I was in front of the right people, I'd be fucking the next James Corden, a fat fucker running around going, yay!
But Martin, my go-to was always Irish media. And I had a couple of ideas for documentaries that the Irish media turned around and threw back at me.
Like what?
Of course they would. Because
I won't say here because they're under discussion, but ESPN are interested in both of them.
Well,
now if I can get ESPN, I can get the president of ESPN interested in them.
Wow.
But a little Irish, no. And then they go back to their friends and they have a bloody black book of about 10 people who they go to for their chat shows, who's ever in the canteen. It's a loop of bullshit. And none of it is productive anymore. None of it is exactly artistic anymore. It's just lazy nonsense.
Yeah, it's
lazy fucking nonsense.
Well, that's even the thing here with America. You keep seeing all these reboots. No one's doing anything new anymore.
No.
That's really what we were trying to say with Martin and Cowboy was something new when I was in Sweden. So hopefully you guys like what we end up getting out there. Hopefully tomorrow night.
But it's grim. It's grim. I mean, the lack of and because even if you do something better, unless it's pushed by one of the big firms, unless it's Netflix, unless it's Amazon, unless it's ESPN, you're struggling. And then you do something brilliant, yet they do something shit, and you look at the viewership, and it's bloody depressing. It's really depressing.
Martin, I was just on the line yesterday with the Hulu sales, a woman that works for Hulu in the sales team. So hopefully when we get Billies and Budgets done, we'll send it over to her.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice, man. You know,
I know.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice just to look. The thing is, like going back to the Republican Telly thing, I had some great ideas, some fucking great ideas, and I don't know if it was Chris who wasn't going ahead with them and putting them up, because he had a nice little sweet touch in RT. But for me, I was like, we did this character Danny the Dunsman, that this boxer that came over, and there was a lot of ideas that I looked at Republic of Telly as being a potential springboard, like the 11 o'clock show was, which brought you Ricky Gervais, Mackenzie Crook, Ian Lee,
not a whole
Ali G. Yeah, and it's
Ali
just
G.
Yeah,
Ali G, man.
And Irish comedians are the best in the bloody world often. And no, we don't get the springboard from the national broadcaster. You have to stay in line and do duck down shite.
They're not. That's shite.
Well, this is the thing, right? With me, I kind of feel like my Twitter output, and 1 second, Dwayne, I feel like my
let Martin talk. Let Martin talk, boys.
I feel like when you're out of it for so long, like I have been, and I'm just looking at what's coming out of RTE, which is taxpayer funded, and it's like the thing is with Hardy Books, we gave a lot of people the start, and and we proved. And I think it rubbed people up the wrong way. First of all, when we started Hardy Books, we didn't give a shit about offending people. It was, we were putting on what we saw, and it was only a light shade of what we saw in real life. Like, and when it came to TV, people were so used to sanitized, cloying, maudling, sentimental, fucking PG, soft-handed kid glove shite that when we actually came out and truly represented what's happening in a certain demographic in like maligned, deprived areas of Ireland, it showed up these fucking elites in Dublin who were like trying to keep up this kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? Discover Ireland, cool. And that's not what it was about. Lads driving around in fucking souped up mitzies. If you go out here to, if you go out to Stockholm, go half an hour outside Stockholm city centre. You places like
Sikla.
Sikla, and Sikla's actually quite nice. But there's parts of Sikla, there's part of Gustus Berry. These are nice, affluent places. But if you go out a little bit further into the woods, you're going to get lads who drive around in Volvos that have been turned into pickup trucks. And they're fucking listening to dance band music, which is basically like show band shit you get from Ireland. It's the same. And what we did is we touched on something that was just real, happening everywhere, it was pervasive. And when it came, and it was so honest and raw in the way we handled it.
That's the point I was trying to make earlier.
People were shocked. We went up to Brendan O'Connell one night, and Brendan was like, "What? We had to go in character, like." And Brendan was like, "What's it like around your town?" And I was gonna rip the set down, right? I was literally going to go in there. I said to the other lads, we were driving down to Dublin at 105 miles an hour in Tom's Micro, listening to fucking 1980s hard rock. And I had them pumped up into a frenzy. And I was like, we go and play Holy Fuck when we go on there tonight. And we brought in, they were like, the producers like, look, lads, we got you the bottles of Buckfast you wanted. And we've got cans. And the boys are like, fucking sound, thanks very much. And we was just fucking on the lush. And then it dawned on me when I was in my first live TV appearance. The audience looked like a mountain. It was like a wall. It was like the wall of death, but with people. And
I'm back
like,
a second. I've heard your piss.
This is real, but we never, like myself and Chris, man, we didn't have any fucking respect for RTE. We were like, who cares, man? It's a small potatoes. And so we went on there in character with no fucking no rehearsal, nothing. We were like, what would these characters do if they were on live
That
TV?
was probably the best way to do it, and that's.
Do you want to know the truth about Brendan Martin?
Where is this video? I'd love to watch this.
Well, it's been taken down, man.
Brendan, for example, would have worked in the Sunday. Well, I was in the Sunday Tribune, and we got moved into Independent House on Talbot Street.
The Indo.
And the Indo was right behind us, and my seat was right at the edge of a fire door, which basically broke the Sunday Independent from Sunday Tribune when it still existed. And one day, my bloody umbrella got caught in it, and Brendan spent about 20 seconds smashing the door as hard as he could, screaming like a fucking baby and shouting at everybody until he broke my umbrella into 3 pieces and slammed the door shut. Just a lunatic. The Sunday Independent, their newspaper had they had a balcony on their 3rd floor, a smoke floor at the time. But Brendan insisted on going down and smoking on Talbot Street because people would recognize him. That's the kind of, and do you know what he got out of it? This is the guy who wrote front page columns about how if you don't buy more houses in 2008, you're a loser. And people love.
Right,
and do you know what he got out of it? He got a promotion in the Sunday Independent, and a job with RTE.
So I
mean, fuck me. I mean, I've tried my best as a journalist all my life. I'm a good writer. I'm well spoken. I have a good.
That doesn't matter, Ewan. It doesn't matter. Like you can be. Look, the thing is, from what when I discovered you on Twitter, I was like,
yeah, what's your?
I like this guy.
Doing?
But the thing is, you were like myself. You're someone who was in professional media, and then you were exiled. You're not exiled because you were cast out. It's just like you were like, fuck this. I'm gonna go somewhere else. And every time
the reason I got into it was to tell a truth, the same as you. When that truth doesn't suit, I mean, I could have played the game the last 18 months. I mean, it's not fucking hard. Oh, Tony Hoolan's great. Lockdowns are great. I mean, these journalists think there's some sort of fucking skill. To climb the ladder. Lick the ball back.
How can I read your shit? How can I read some of your stuff?
I'll send you a few books.
The thing is,
in the private chat, in the private chat, I asked for your socials if you want to check out the StreamYards.com.
Oh, website. There's one over there. Oh, hang on.
Yes, I asked for mine as well, and
sorry, I've only seen it.
I kicked myself out trying to say it back to you. Yeah.
Ewan, the thing is,
I have a YouTube channel. It's at Johnny Sideways on YouTube. I do a bit of drifting.
I'll add you right now.
Johnny Sideways
is drifting. Fuck me. I'm in with a crowd I never would have drank with.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Legend.
Right. The thing is,
I got Johnny.
JOHNNY Sideways, but with a Z at the end.
Oh, with a Z. Okay, gotcha.
Sorry,
everyone in the comment section, hit like and subscribe on Johnny Sideways.
Johnny Sideways.
That's not. Like, oh no.
Is that you with glasses and a red
I never
shirt
thought my teens would be friends with a man who called himself Johnny Sideways.
Drifting for years and then being all right once.
Yeah, you got the Skyline 6 views from 3 weeks ago. Is that you?
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Martin, do these boys know about the original?
I remember
Skyline
Stateside. Was he the big fat fan?
How you gave it a little body damage there? Do they boys know that story?
Oh yeah, that was your man who lent the Skyline to us. I'll tell you that later on.
All right. And yeah, did we happen to get in touch with Stateside there?
No, I'm trying to get Jay Daly on as well from.
Okay.
What does Stateside, or what's he do other than being an actor in real life?
Stateside.
Yeah, what does he do?
He sends me pictures like this.
Oh man!
Which I think is. I think he looks quite distinguished.
Oh,
It does. I mean, West End stuff we're talking here. We're talking Broadway here.
Talking Brando.
Jeez, man, he's a beaut.
You know what? I enjoyed the crack with Stateside there recently. He was good crack. Let me see if I can get any of the other Hardy Books lads on for the crack.
Who
Cowboy
sang?
just texted me back and said he's busy at the moment.
He's always busy, man. He's busy on the phone, fucking on Instagram, being like, how many followers can I get now?
No, he wrote me back on WhatsApp, not on Instagram, surprisingly enough.
Who sang? Do you remember the karaoke scene at the end of the original Hardy Books on YouTube? Because I was always stunned that whoever sang had one hell of a voice.
Oh, which was it?
That young one. She was nice.
No, the guy who got up and sang had a great voice.
Oh, that was Cowboy Kelly.
Was it?
That's
it was Cowboy.
Yeah, he came over to Sweden and did a bit of filming with us, which was very good.
Yeah,
he's a cracking voice.
That was a great scene. That scene.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's funny. He's a funny dude. Talented.
No, man, he's a lovely fella, man. He always was a pure gent. Even
what was the song?
Roadhouse Blues by the Doors.
That was right. And he
Yeah,
kicked
there
off.
it
It was
is.
superb.
Martin, Owen, could you get Owen in contact with Owen to see if he'd join?
He texted me yesterday. He's not sold. Did you see the $3 Left sold out their show last weekend? They sold out, and now Owen's going on tour as well. See, Martin,
he'd be making a nice few quid for himself for patient.
Graham Cruzeiro are only going through a hard spot.
You need to get a big reunion job going on and try and get something on again. I'm telling you this because there will be a big fan base for it, Martin. I know. It's easier said than done.
Yeah, Johnny, I've been trying to do that for 18 months plus.
It's not happening, man. Do you know what I mean? It's not. The only way it's going to happen is if someone comes with a nice ball of money, because certain people don't want to, and I think the only impetus to. It's not for the love of doing it, but it would be for the money.
You need the financial fucking backup, like obviously. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit harsh, man. You know.
No, but maybe we can get crowdfunding going or something.
It'll probably happen. Like if it's meant to be, it'll happen. You know.
I haven't seen that at Kenny yet, but is it basically like? Look, the thing is, there's a lot of things we've done that have been copied. Like even Republicatelli would just copy the fuck out of us the whole time, and it would be kind of like that's if you're at the tip of the spear, you have to expect that's going to happen. And
you know the key though, Martin.
You're ahead of
Let
your
it
time,
go.
Martin.
Always create ahead of the spear.
Yeah, you've always got to
let them replicate. Fuck them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Martin. You're ahead of your time, so. You know,
but do you know? Look, it's not about being. You know what? This is the thing, man, and this is why comedy is fucking dying on its arse these days. It's about honesty. If you're making comedy, or if you're making anything that is culturally significant, it has to be truthful. It has to be. Otherwise, you're building a house on sand. It has to be an expression of how you interpret the world. I mean, whether your opinion is right or wrong, as long as it's honest and it's truthful to yourself. You know, songwriting, art, comedy, it has to be like journalism. It has to be. People pick up on authenticity. And I've spoken about this before, and it has to be authentic. And the thing is, we're living in very fucking tumultuous times where shit that was par for the course 7 years ago is now completely fucking verboten or whatever, as they say. And, you know, people need to fucking uphold the honest discourse, and not only discourse, but to keep that integrity to the arts. And I think that's my 2 cents on it.
You overrate
Veritas
people, Johnny.
Huh?
Or not Johnny. You, Martin. You overrate people.
Overrate people.
People are people. People are greedy, selfish, surface dwellers. Whatever they can to get as far ahead as they can. COVID has shown this. They will fuck over their neighbor and claim, even in a pandemic, that this is to get a little further ahead. They're odious. And you know what? I look at climate change like the earth trying to shake its back like a dog trying to get rid of fleas.
Yeah. But
We are
What does
horrible
odious mean?
things.
I don't even know what odious means.
I think when you're in that corner, that bottom
Gotta
corner,
Google
you
odious.
start getting really debateful. Where's 26 + 1 + 1 again? He was given out by the government. Now we're going to start going about global warming.
Well, no, he went mad all
We're trying to get
I'm being honest.
Look, as far as I see it, look, and I'm being honest, right? And this is just how I see it. There's a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon. Sky is gonna be climate neutral. What the fuck does that mean, man? I mean, it's just platitudes and fucking lip service to a fad. You know
Football
what I mean?
match. Tottenham is going to a game against Chelsea, or who gives a fuck? It's going to be a climate neutral match. What the fuck does that mean?
What the fuck?
Who's going to drive to the match?
They're not going to breed.
So
it means they're going to breed.
So are they going to plant 15 trees
that they
on the way to the match?
That's what they're going to do. That's what it means to be new. They're going to create the same
Not
amount
one
of
man after
electricity that they use.
Carbon-free pint is going to shite himself at that match.
No, there's no blood talk, lads. There's no blood talking over it. Let Ewan have the.
No, wait, just clarify. They said they're going to have a carbon-neutral football match.
Yeah. That's the big Sky seller. It's going to be carbon-free. Now, it doesn't account for every Sky employee coming to the game, all the cameras coming to the game. It means everyone at the game was paid €90 a ticket.
All the fancy cars, coaches, taxis, everything.
Oh, yeah. No, it just means the fan who pays €90 for a fucking ticket can't get a burger.
No, they won't put it in tinfoil. They'll put it in paper because it's recyclable.
Well, they won't even get the burger. It'll be some fucking, I mean, it's insulting. I mean, it's always targeting the fucking man. I was laughing today. I mean, you can't tax your way out of a problem, right? And sorry to bring this conversation serious, but carbon. Now we're out of COVID. Now we're into climate change.
Yeah, and then next
carbon tax. The earth is heating up too fast. We have to carbon tax you. But you don't have any energy, and we're going to have to tax you more for that because the last winter has been too cold.
Well, look, here's what's going to happen. There are manufactured shortages that are happening now, right? And if you look up at old fucking Klausy boy from the World Economic Forum, he is Project Cyber Polygon. They will be the COVID virus of the internet, and they must be very careful that we do not succumb to the supply lines of the internet. We must build back better the new carbon neutral internet. It will be about tolerance and inclusion, and it will include very big kickbacks for anybody who's affiliated with the World Economic Forum at Davos. And
I hope this is the carbon neutral podcast.
Oh yeah, very much so, man. It's I've actually planted. I'll show you. Let me bring in Robert Plant for a second.
Here we go.
I couldn't go any longer if I didn't.
Well, he's bringing in Robert Plant. I made my microphone out of my own shite.
Oh, sorry. This is actually Basil Bush. So I'm doing my bit to offset my carbon emissions as a YouTube streamer.
I've got Sideshow Bob.
Sideshow Bob's looking well, man. It's well watered.
I bought him at the start of the Corona pandemic, and I was going to call him Corona, but I said no, call him Sideshow Bob.
That's a nice orchid you have there. Fair play to you, Ewan. So this is a clone from the mother plant that's out in the balcony. It's not the mother needs to come in, but it's actually a proper bush. It's going a bit yellow around the leaves, but we will take care of that with a bit of cleaning. But look, Chrissy Perez has got some beautiful.
So we're talking about plants.
Blah blah blah.
It's the gardener now. It's Martin's gardener.
Those are the legal ones.
Well, you're growing a fancy one,
yeah, very nice.
What fancy? Are you growing the fancy one tonight?
Maybe.
Yes. So look.
Maybe you're more talented than I. So.
What does Lawrence say? Lawrence comment says, all this carbon tax wank to the common man that's doing next to fuck all. Meanwhile, Bezos went up into space in a rocket for the fuck of it a couple of months back. Disgrace. Well
Yeah,
said,
that
Lauren.
is disgraceful.
And I'm sure any of these fucking... I think basically what we're dealing with is monolithic institutions that want to tax the majority of the working class people across the globe to enrich themselves and solidify their base of power over the globe. That's one aspect of it. Then they have people who, I think basically it's a hierarchy, a global hierarchy of a need-to-know basis. So the person above them knows slightly more than the one below them, until you get basically to the main, to the overall media spread, which is basically make the individual feel guilty about the planet, even though their actions, everyone's like, oh, I've got to, put me plastics in the plastic bin. I've got to.
I wouldn't go that mad on it.
Well, I mean, someone's making mad money out of this.
Well, everyone makes mad money out of everything. But I wouldn't go that mad on it. I mean, if it is some grand scheme, why didn't Sweden agree? I mean, can you imagine getting all these leaders lined up? I mean, and a lot of them thick as fucking dog shit.
Why Sweden free during the pandemic, man? You know what I mean?
They didn't, but I mean, how you couldn't get every global leader lined up. I think the Chinese fucked the Europeans and the West big time by convincing them lockdowns worked. I think that's what happened. And
since when did the West ever fucking take direction from China, man? That's what I don't understand. The thing,
because the WHO, the Sunday Times had a report 2 weeks ago about how the WHO had been bought by China and Europe didn't know. And it was that the World Health Organization in the Sunday Times in England had a 4-page report by their investigative unit. And the whole thing was about how basically China convinced them that China's economic interests mattered more than this virus, which they didn't think would go that far. And then it did. And Europe and America and the Western world had spent 20 years coming up with this plan, how you deal with the virus. And it was kind of pretty obvious, you don't lock down, you let it spread through this group and that.
What they were going to do in the beginning.
But it was kind of like a lad who spent fucking 24 hours preparing to ride a girl. And he realized, I'll put on the condom this way, I'll put on the condom that way. And then the next thing, he just takes it off and shags her. I mean, it's not a great fucking way to deal with it. They spent 20 years scientifically coming up with a plan about how to deal with the virus. And one of the big factors was all these weird videos coming out of China of people dropping dead on the street, which were clearly actors. Yeah. And China was clearly pushing state-controlled media into the West and scaring the fuck out of people.
Well, how much money have the manufacturers of PPE made? These fucking masks have now, I mean, you've got millions and millions of these non-biodegradable masks that are now polluted the oceans, they're in rivers. And if it was so fucking bad, man, they would be biohazardous bins to put all this into.
I said to a fella at the start of this, and I still fucking laugh. I said he's a scientist, he works with kind of bad viruses, and he said you should wear a mask. And so when you're going in to deal with a bad virus, you go in your jeans, a football jersey, and a mask. And he said, no, I wear a biohazard suit.
True.
Well, what the fuck does this do to me? I mean, the logic of it is just gone out the window throughout the science. That's
right. Right.
But here's the thing, right, about if someone farts in a room and you've got a mask on, you'll smell the mask. Like my friend was telling me, he was talking to a guy who had stale BO. If you can smell the particles of body odor from someone through a mask, then these vaporized particles should surely be smaller than them.
They're a billion times smaller than what comes out of your arsehole, to be crude about it.
Yeah.
Even on a bad morning, they're a billion times more.
Well, it does block the big stuff.
Fucking shish kebab the night before.
The whole window.
But none of it makes any fucking sense. I mean, I don't.
Is it intentionally like that though? You know what I mean? The waters are very muddied. Check out Peter Daszak of Eco Health Alliance and the fact he went to DARPA to try and to find out about making research on these chimeric viruses with that were, would gain a function. Apparently, DARPA turned them down, and then they ended up continuing the research through the National Institute of Health in Wuhan. And I was talking to a guy today who seems to think that it came out of there because someone, they were dealing with these dead bats, and people eat bats over there, and someone was just like, "Hey, do you want to make a few quid out of selling these bats to the wet market?"
It's kind of accepted, Martin, from people. This new book, I'm talking to an Australian woman next week who's written this book. It's actually accepted at this point by US military intelligence and by anyone with intelligence that this came out of the Wuhan lab.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was a mistake seemingly, and they let a guy covered in bat blood come out of the lab screaming onto the street, etc., etc. This is what happened. It wasn't an intentional Chinese thing, but once it fucking happened, the Chinese decided we're going to make the fucking most out of this.
Yeah, never let a good crisis
They
go to
thought
waste.
they could contain it. They thought it would stay within China, and they bought the World Health Organization. This came out of a lab in China.
How much did it cost to buy the World Health Organization?
Fuck all.
Well, the thing is, if you look at China,
but this came out of a lab in July, August 2019. They didn't even admit to it until December. So for 4 months, and we know it was in Paris, it was in London, it was in Rome in September 2019. So if this was rampant in September 2019, 5 months before we knew it was, we did no restrictions, no one did anything. Everyone was traveling home for Christmas, worst months of the year, everyone fucking bananas.
I mean,
why was it quite calm? Because it spiked at Christmas and it went back down.
But there's no restrictions. That's it.
There were no restrictions and went down naturally.
Yeah, but
do you
also,
think the weather might have played a part?
The flu doesn't go away either.
No, because it wasn't that cold.
This will never go away.
No, it'll never go away now because
it's not going in.
Here's the thing, right? Before this shit happened, I got a really bad dose of the flu in 2018 that left me bedridden for days. And I got better, and then I hit the gym, took a cold shower, went over a few pints. Happy days, so I thought. And then 2 days later, I'm in bed, fucking shaking. My ex-wife goes to me, "Your lips have turned blue. You look," and she's a nurse, and she's like, "Looks like you're getting pneumonia. You got to go to the doctor immediately." Didn't wear a fucking mask. Yeah, I had what looked like the flu. That was causing the bacterial pneumonia. Went to the doctor. I was like, "Yeah, no one fucking wears masks when they've got the flu." And because the flu is so traditional, it's like, yeah, the flu.
No,
if I get it, I'll get a couple of days off work. It'll be sound. And but the thing is, it caused it basically. I couldn't walk upstairs like for about a month.
Oh, it's a bastard. I'm not comparing it to a flu. It is a cunt.
Have you had it, Ewan? Have you?
Seemingly once. And do you know what? The only reason I knew was when I got the vaccination. And I love when people call me anti-vax, because living in Brazil, I've had every yellow fever. I've had about 100 vaxes. But I was sick for a week after the Johnson vax, the 1 dose. Jeez, I was violently ill. But they said you must have had it before. And I respect that. And I'm not anti-vax. And I think everybody should fucking get it. And if they don't want to, I believe it's their choice. And I'm not going to, but this is what gets me.
Well, but this is the thing, right? The way it is, it's like this new thing where it's the catch-all word. I mean, if you like the catch-word anti-vax, you're anti-vax. And it's like, most people aren't. But there seems to be a bit of fucking murky handling of the, if people were fucking straight up from the beginning about this, then people would have been a bit more okay. Like when it all
came out. What it is, Martin? Martin, do you remember the same people during Trump's presidency? And I was no fan of Trump, my God, but they always abused him. They said that's a man who goes after the messenger, so they can never get the message across. That was always his point. They absolutely either he robbed it from them or they robbed it from him, because the minute you came up with this kind of idea, well, do lockdowns work, or is this the best method? You're far right. You're a Nazi. So they actually tarred you and made sure you had no voice before you ever got your message across. And that was what angered me so much.
Well, you know what's going to fucking it'll be here's what they're going to. These people are going to create their own fucking chimera, because they're going to fucking keep calling ordinary people. They're going to create their own monster. They're going to start calling people so many of these derogatory they're like a fucking. They're basically these people operate in slogans, and it's a trump card in an empty deck. You know, it's the one fucking
Martin. They've already started doing this. I laughed the other week. Someone called me. I don't know what she claimed I misgendered someone and blah blah blah, and she kept at me and at me and at me and at me, and finally she claimed I was a male when I'd never accepted it. And suddenly you go back at this, and her whole argument fell to fucking
because their whole fucking ethos and their belief system is built on fucking pseudoscience and bullshit. It's opinion
and offense.
It's like if you are offended, you're not going to die of being offended. Get over it. You know what I mean?
I love this. I love this idea, and I'm starting to do a podcast show on the back of this. The fucking idea of this annoys me. That we have a right not to be offended. No. There's a world where it's quite the opposite way. I have a right to offend you.
It's called tough shit. You're offended, you get offended. Tough shit.
I have a right to offend you. There's no right not to be offended.
Have you ever worked in the kitchen?
It's a way for people to get to just make an issue out of something that they have no control over.
Have you ever worked in a kitchen? Imagine taking some of these people and putting them in a kitchen with like Marco Pierre White or Gordon Ramsay.
Or Johnny Sideways. Put them in the kitchen with Johnny Sideways. Look.
That lad's he's got a good kitchen. You make a great bacon sandwich.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to get too deep in tonight. I'm going to leave us with it. I'm leaving
Johnny,
now.
are you a drug dealer? Your kitchen is amazing.
Do you drive a nice Audi? Or is it say an Audi?
No.
I love your kitchen. It's spectacular.
It's lovely, man. Did you do that yourself, Johnny?
What are you talking about? It's a spectacular kitchen. What are you talking about?
It's fucking nice, man.
Some outstanding lighting too. The lighting is fantastic.
It's optimal lighting. There's some great lumens going on.
You living in a kind of a Wisconsin ranch.
I'll show you outside, Rich. I'll show you outside, Rich.
The hills at Tala. Are you going picking the mushies up on Green Hills now?
You don't pick the mushies in Green Hills, Martin. You pick them up in the mountains, you head case.
I played a GA match against Cree Nafa. Do you remember them? Or are they still around? Up there.
Cree Nafa,
Cree Nafa, I think they were called.
Look
at that! You can see Canada.
You can see a Peugeot on axle stands in my garden. That's what you can see.
I think it's in Canada.
Lads, I'm going to leave us to it.
Johnny, thanks for joining us, mate.
Always
a pleasure to have. You're a real natural now. You. Like you have no fear of being on the TV. It's a very small audience. You don't know who's watching.
I love his
Good night, bless, Johnny. Good night,
Give us the scan, boys. Give us the scan. Lads. Good night.
Good night, bless. That was Johnny from Tala. Come here, Dwayne. Yeah, he sounds a pound, man. Will you do me a favour there, Dwayne? Will you ring stateside and see if you can get him on?
Ring him to crack it. Go on, ring him.
No, I've rang him 3 times. Like he hasn't answered.
Oh, if he answers for you, you're in trouble.
He'd be like, how you doing? I'm not going on that fucking. No, I'm not doing it. I'm too tired, man. I've been playing snooker in the shed.
You bastard! I always presumed they were always local fellas who wanted to act.
No, yeah,
great crack. I actually had great time for Sean. Chris and Miller, but I haven't seen them in ages. And it wasn't by choice. I fucking lost contact with them.
Hey, Dwayne, do you remember the time you were supposed to be in Series 3 of Hardy Books as mascot? You were playing Simcast's brother. And then when we were drinking the fake pints, and one of us had the idea of going across the street to buy a real pint instead of drinking that disgusting fake beer shit. And then you were like, I'll do that as well. So, but the thing is, you took liberties beyond belief and came back with a bottle of red wine, and you were shooting at like 11:30 in the day.
I was in the middle of one of my, I break out in the old sauce every now and again for about a week solid, and it happens about maybe 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year.
Or every now and again, you just got to blow away the cobwebs.
I was in the middle of one of my hissy fits and of beer, where I couldn't actually, I couldn't break it down. I couldn't actually stop it. I had no choice in the matter. Like, you know, obviously it was a good opportunity to do a few scenes at the Hardy Box. That, like, obviously that's good. It's an RTE show. Like, obviously you're thinking, oh, geez, it's actually a good opportunity for a man. But sure, I mean, at that moment in time,
hairy fella with the long hair? Do you remember the golf club fella?
Oh, Aloysius. Maybe.
Yeah, where's Aloysius at?
Maybe I could see if I could get him on.
And who was his uncle?
Ring Kilcoyne. I haven't talked to him about fucking 4 years.
Oh, here.
Uncle Mick.
That's fucking right. Uncle Mick. Do you know what? Maybe I might give fucking Uncle Mick a ring.
It's 12:30 and
I'm going to grab a beer.
he's at.
He'd be up, man. He'd be up. I'll ring him now. I'll ring him now.
What are you eating there?
I'm gonna ring the uncle now. I know the great Georgie Maloney. I'll ring him now.
All right.
When I first went on the show, I had a sandwich in the oven and I tossed it up a bit more and I started out.
You're chomping like a champ.
Oh yeah, you got it right, mate. I'm having it, Lord.
Oh,
Are we having it fucking Lord, mate?
I'll be right back.
Bastards have done it.
Where the fuck is he gone?
Live stream.
I assume he's not gone to fucking bed. I mean, he's about fucking 6 hours behind us, for fuck's sake. We need to go to fucking bed. He's fucking in half his siesta.
I'm gonna ask Paul Gallagher, is he up?
He won't come on. Is it? He'd be drinking vodka down in what's the pub called in I can't think of it. JJ Finance down in Charlestown.
He's a sound out skin version.
Hello, Paul.
Wonderful room.
Are you down in JJ Finance by any chance? I am not. I'm over in fucking Manchester, my friend.
So, Dwayne, how's life around the town?
Oh, it's pure fucking shit.
A metaphor for Ireland.
I never played the last weekend. I don't even know how I got home. I must have walked home. I know Tanya picked me up. I said to Tanya, was I thrown at the pub or did I walk out? She said, no, I think you walked out. She said, I think
Tanya
you walked out.
nice, is she? You have a crisp on the corner of your mouth there, Dwayne.
I said, Tanya, seeing as I walked out of the pub, does that mean I'll be out in it again? She said, well, I'd imagine so.
Oh, look. Hey, look. Ewan's got the real taters, the potatoes.
Where?
He's eating potatoes for inflation.
Oh, good man, you're the fucking potatoes.
Hey, come here, Dwayne. You have a half potato hanging off your lip.
Bastard to get into security.
Oh,
everyone's on the.
I'm on the fancy piss. I'm on the
Dwayne, you got a bit of a half potato hanging off the corner of your mouth. You're nearly there. You're nearly done it. Just
down this side.
There you go. You got it.
There you go.
Can you not see yourself?
It was like the pit of Sarlacc from Return of the Jedi.
I have a cold sore as well there, but I'm trying to get rid of it. But I'm on the beer last fucking week. It's hard to get rid of the cunt.
But not more than the beer if you have a cold sore. That's a sexually transmitted disease.
Herpes.
I wish it was fucking transmitted.
It comes and goes. I got a sty in my eye as well.
Oh, that's also a sexually transmitted disease.
I
They're all COVID.
I wish if it was sexually transmitted, I would have had the pleasure and the fucking pain. But all I get at the minute is the fucking pain.
Depends what you were at.
You're not the only one, bro. You're not the only one. Look at what this stream has delved into.
Martin, have you introduced me to kind of the next Ted Bundy's here? Is this still live? That's terrifying, isn't it?
Ted Bundy.
Well,
hey, come here, Dwayne. Will you ring Tom there, please?
Sure. No. What's his number?
I'm not going to give it to you. I'll give it to you in the private chat.
Oh, he doesn't trust me.
No, it's not that. It's just like
he doesn't want the world to know it.
Ring Chris. Ring Chris.
I don't know who he's ringing.
27
the world
people
here.
watching. Can't be sharing numbers that way.
These guys here now on the right hand side of me, they're worried about Ted Bundy. Sure, they look like fucking Ted Bundy themselves.
This is my
getting
first
scared.
time
I'm
on the
getting
show,
I'm
and
watching in reality.
What the fuck does
First
Ted
time doing
Bundy
this
look
voice.
like? Now I gotta Google this.
Hey, we got Paul.
You
Paul
blow
Gallagher's
it
coming
all
on.
sky
We need some
Oh.
jazz.
for telling me
Paul
you're
Gallagher.
alive without a reason why. You've blown it all sky high.
Do people watch this? Fuck
Yeah.
I'm
me.
watching see you.
Dude, the one from 2 days ago had like 800 views.
God fucking help them.
So people sit through this. It's unbelievable.
If you're watching
Thank
this,
you all for
God help you.
supporting.
I like my
Doing that.
sexy voice. What do you reckon of it?
It's pretty solid, actually. I was about to
I could
say,
do-
you
I could
should be
do
reading the
solid
news.
Voiceover for porno. Hang on. She's walking.
I
in
was
the
thinking
room.
you could
What
read
will
the
happen?
news for like the Sunday
the news,
Times. And
okay.
you're talking about porn.
Well, it's been on my mind.
What happens? Jeez.
I think it's fucking excellent. What a voice.
Tell
Do
me.
you think? Do you
tell me
think
more.
that? Do you think that now Ireland has loosened up on the the whole sexual liberation crack? That that we're going to start seeing Irish porn being made like it's like, how are you, Deirdre? I
Have
just
you
came
not
in
watched
here.
it? I've watched it.
What?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
watched
think
it. They
I've had
call
the
it
pleasure.
leper porn.
Why is porn illegal in Ireland? You can't film it.
Oh
No, it's not that. It's just because it's so
you can
small,
go all
like,
day,
everyone
we
is-
just not want to.
I'd say you'd see some
Because
interesting
everybody
characters.
knows everybody.
Well, no, it's just not wonderful on the eye.
Oh, here we got Paul Gallagher. I like there, Paul, mate.
Who's this man?
This is the man who taught Liam and Noel everything they needed to know about
Fuck
rock
me.
and roll.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, 1 second. He's muted.
There
on.
he is.
No. Yeah. Paul, I can't hear you.
Barbuda Blue. Barbuda Blue. Turn your microphone on.
Paul looks like he's in a hell of a bar.
He's in Barbados at the moment.
Ah, Bridgetown.
Wow.
So this is a nice international touch. We got Barbados,
Yeah,
Stockholm,
wow.
Boston, and Porto. Ah, there we go, Paul. Oh no, he's still.
No.
Just unplug the headphones, maybe, Paul, and then.
Are you wireless? Make sure your Bluetooth is connected. And then if you go down to where it says camera mic, there's a spoke. Click that and select whichever camera or microphone. That's how you do it. On the
Can you hear me,
StreamYard.com
Paul?
thing.
Yeah, I'll ring you. 1 second. I'll ring you.
All right. Walk them through it. Just tell them to hit the camera mic button on the bottom on StreamYard. It'll be all right. Back to Ewan's news voice. Tell me
How you
what's
doing,
going on
Barbados?
in South Africa. Tell me about South
After
Africa.
that. If you unplug the headphones, disconnect the
Bridgetown.
headphones, just
About to unplug his headphones.
no.
Things are going to happen shortly, folks.
There's a little.
I think I get
right,
career in
yeah.
this.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Exactly.
Maybe
And then I'll make sure that you.
for blazing budgets, you can do the
Chicken noodles is
voiceover
right, Paul.
work. For
A
the show
kind of a
that you
cheap
film.
NFL game. It's 4 against
Good
And
lad.
you get
Come
the
here.
ball
Come on.
What do you
One
think?
yard
Do you
line
think-
for
Plug it
me.
on.
Do you think Tampa's going to win, or
First
do you think
down.
New
Plug it on
England's
the show.
first now?
Right, I'll let you go.
Your laugh. It's like contagious.
Not my
What do you
voice.
think, though? Tampa Bay? No, the voice is funny, but your laugh is funnier. New England or Tampa Bay? Who's winning?
Kansas.
How about those Kansanites?
I'm a
Kansas
Chiefs
City
fan.
Chiefs? Who are the Chiefs playing?
I'll show you what the Chiefs are playing. 1 minute.
Oh, yeah? Let's see.
Who are the Chiefs?
They
from
are
Kansas?
playing. Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. They play the Eagles on Sunday at 1 o'clock East Coast time. So I mean, running back LaShawn McCoy is going to retire as a member of the Eagles.
Look how B
Good
said,
for him.
I'd say states I can make a fortune doing OnlyFans. I mean, you know, there's a
Does
market
he know
for
what
it.
OnlyFans is? If he knows what OnlyFans is, I'd be very surprised. I'm playing Star Wars Fallen Jedi.
Who made that? EA, is it? Fucking shite games, man.
Let me see.
Were you a fan of the Star Wars franchise growing up, Ewan? I keep calling you Ewan, like sweet.
To answer your question, I have no idea who the Chiefs are playing. Do you know what? The first three were pretty cool. Second three were bullshit, and Philly are nonsense.
They grow on you.
See, I put my cap. He's not even looking.
The Kansas Chiefs.
He does. He's got a cap. Nice hat, bro.
Yeah, I had to pay import tax on this shit from fanatics.com.
Really?
Yeah, you get 50%. Bought the fucking cap for $6.99.
Should have just sent me the money. I would have mailed it to you.
I'm totally doing that next time.
Yeah.
Bad signal here.
There we go. What are you doing over in Barbados?
Man, getting some sunshine, bros.
Nice and ting.
You know what I mean?
Getting away
from Brexit and all them people looking for petroleum.
So, Paul, this is Chris Perez. He's over in Boston. He's an aspiring filmmaker. Down here is sports journalist Ewan MacKenna, one of those guys from Athy down there in Kildare.
Oh yeah, the courier of Kildare.
Exactly. We're sheep shaggers. I had such an addiction. I now live in Portugal. I have to get away from it.
He moved up to the goats.
You did, yeah. You went from extended Dublin criminality to goat herding.
Well, the sheeps looked at me more. They looked like they were guilty.
I mean, Ireland's full of sheep. Anyway, it is now.
Good lamb. Good night. Good night.
Fine steakhouses.
Hi. Are you down in Bridgetown?
No. I'm kind of near Barbados. I didn't say I was in it.
Which island will we?
How's the weather down there, Paul?
Well,
in Grenada.
I landed into it, and then I was taken away by armed guard.
What?
For your own safety.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could change my name to Epstein. No. Anyway. No, there's a fucking thunderstorm out there, raging. It's 32 degrees, but there's raging thunderstorms, sandflies, mosquitoes, and everything you wear just doesn't fucking work. This is supposed to be great. It's called Bog Off. Put it on. It's fucking eating, man. You know, years ago,
you got a mosquito net.
No, listen. This is outside. I can't wear a fucking burqa in the street, can I? Come on. No, you know when Cromwell sent everyone to Barbados and they were called the Red Legs.
Yeah, lads like yourself.
Because the legs burnt in the sun after drinking very strong rum. Well, we had the same thing the other day. I went into this place and I says, "Can I have a rum punch?" Now, what they don't tell you, it's 84.5% proof.
Oh, yeah, it's bad. It's like paint stripper. Drank that shit at Roskilde once.
Yeah, but Martin, they didn't tell you this. They just said it's a special rum punch. Didn't tell you till 3 days later, and you're going, you know that girl you saw me the other night? Can you show me the bottle? They're going, certainly. Fucking like meths. Yeah, so that's why I'm. It's 9 o'clock and I'm kind of in the bedroom.
Is it dark there where you are?
Yeah, it was dark at 6:20.
Give us a look at the room. See how what's the room benching for stats?
Oh, it's flash. It's flash.
Go on, give us a look. Give us a look.
No, I can't. It's owned by a very expensive man.
Look at the room. Fuck me.
Flashy fucker, huh?
Headboard and a double king.
Tell him to send the tickets and I'll be there, hey.
Listen, it's a long way from Longsight, babies.
It's a long way from Santa Ponza.
It's a long way from Charlestown in County Mayo.
Fucking, I was just telling you earlier on that your mum's from well, we could say kind of also Swinford as well.
Border country. It's called Mull and Mordogue is his proper title.
It'd be the equivalent of Canaf between Culchemont and Swinford. That's where Colligan is from.
Yeah, it's country.
Hey, what are you working on out there at the minute, or are you on holidays?
I'm on holiday, celebrate. That one. On holiday.
Enjoy it, man.
Hey, we have another Swinford man on. We got Dwayne Durkan. He said he saw you down in Finance once.
Actually on my mouth.
What?
Oh, it's gone, is it? Is something on my mouth there, no?
Can we get a translator in, Martin? I don't know what he's saying.
So are you
No, I'm
Mr.
not.
Gallagher?
No, my name is Josephine.
I'm not calling you Paul Gallagher because I'm Irish. It's Paul Gallagher or nothing.
Exactly, brother. I'll be peaceful, Martin. It is Gallagher. You're quite correct.
Thank you very much.
Silent.
They all changes. For some reason, I don't know why they do it, but they have to change it when they're in England. They have to go for the Gallagher approach, but I go for the Gallagher approach.
Well, it's not the people with the name who change it. It's the other people who call it.
I know that. So, of course, you know what your surname is.
Do you reckon that Shameless, when who's your man who wrote it again?
Frank Gallagher.
Yeah, but who is the writer of it?
Oh no, he's
Paul Abbott.
Paul Abbott, yeah. Do you reckon he just took the Gallagher name and was like, "Oh, we're gonna"?
Yeah, right. I'd say he knew what it should have been, but he probably went for the English approach.
Yeah, and he sort of. I mean, listen, they're not called the Smiths, are they, or the Joneses? You know what I mean?
It was fucking. The Seamus was the first few series. It was an epic show.
You know, Paul was once telling me that he was working with Johnny Marr's dad from the Smiths, and he was a grab driver.
He is, yeah. Well, he was. Well, this was 25 years ago. Yeah, he used to drive the grab wagon for Norwest Holst. They were the
Norwest Holst.
Yeah, that's the name of the company. They were the Northwest. Oh. What do you call this shit? Civil engineering.
Yeah, I remember those vans growing up. Actually,
that's the proper title for it.
Do you remember Renko?
I call it slavery, but it is civil engineering.
Slavery.
They're very civil when they're engineering. No, we were working on the gas for the gas company. and Al John Marr was on the grab. He's from Kildare, I think.
He is. Johnny Marr grew up in a Athy, County Kildare, or Castledermot, County Kildare.
Yeah,
actually.
It's Kildare. Yeah.
Small world.
I was with my uncle Dan Sweeney from Mullamodog in County Mayo. That's what was going on there. Yeah.
Hey, tell me this, Paul. Paddy Prendergast checked out. Is the curse lifted or what?
There wasn't a curse anyway. There's Martin. There's no curse. It just wasn't fucking good enough, and I'm sick of saying the same thing. If you're good enough, the curse will be lifted. No curse.
Hey, Paul, do you mind me asking you one question?
Go on.
Is Paddy McAloon one of the best songwriters of all time?
What, him from what the fuck?
Prefab Sprout.
Prefab? No, he's
Prefab
not.
Sprout.
Why? No.
Who was he called?
Paddy McAloon.
Prefab Sproutings, not prefab spuddings. Spoutings.
Would he be regarded as a decent songwriter?
No.
Come on, I'll get a grip.
Listen, the best living songwriter from the British Islands, so to speak, out there right now is a guy called Mike Scott from Edinburgh.
Of Fisherman's Blues.
Yeah, and before that, the Water Boys.
The Water Boys.
The Ishkabuhals.
That does not happen. That's getting this completely ludicrous. It's like, where is the
Fisherman's Blues? I wish it was the Fisherman's. One of the great songs ever fucking written. He's still out there playing great stuff.
That's one song. Like, where's the fucking lineup beyond the one song?
Where's the lineup?
The Water Boys. Waterboys, when they broke up, the other side of them, the other guy wrote one of the great songs. It was based on Theroux's view of
song. Like I'm
history.
talking about, like a group of songs of top quality. Where's the group of songs?
What do you mean?
No,
by group of top quality.
He's a legendary songwriter. He's a very nice guy. I'll tell you a true story, Martin. We done Ben and Kasim a few years ago, and the Waterboys was in. Well, no, Mike was in this. I come out of the toilet, obviously, and there's this little guy sat on a chair, cross-legged, drinking a cup of tea, and I'm thinking, is that Mike fucking Scott? And I never approach anyone, even if I see them. I'm thinking, nah, leave them alone. But then I thought, you know what? We're in Madrid or Valencia, wherever I think it was Valencia. That's Mike Scott. I've got to say hello. He's my all-time hero, but I'm never going to tell him that. I went, all right, Mike, and he went, oh, hi, how are you? I said, I'm very good. He says, oh, you're one of the I says, yeah, I'm one of the hound dogs. He says, oh, who are you with? I says, I'm with the other one. He went, oh. So anyway, I went outside to Liam. I says, listen, Mike Scott's in there. He went, who's he? I says, the Waterboys. He goes, come on, let's go back and say hello to him. So we went back in. And they were like, I love you, I love you, I love you. I was like, listen, can we get to the point? Mike, where are you playing tonight? And he said, oh, I'm doing a gig down in such and such. I'll put you on the guest list. So I'm like, cool. Anyway, the night transpired that I didn't make it out of the hotel bar because shenanigans. So you feel like the next day you've let him down, right? So you're thinking, right, I hope he's not downstairs. I have to run into him and fucking say, Mike, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I'm in the lift from the 5th floor and it comes down 4, 3, 2, 1 and it stopped. And Mike Scott got in and I was thinking, lazy bastard, you not walk down 5 steps. Anyway, he gets in there. I said, Mike, sorry about last night. He goes, oh, no problem, no, great. Here's a USB drive. I says, what's that? He goes, it's some Motown songs for your brother for some inspiration. And I was going, cool. And I was looking at the USB drive.
On it.
No. I was looking for the USB drive, and it's a posh one. It's at least a £200 USB drive, a big stick. It wasn't no fucking cheap one. Anyway, so we chatted. He chatted me for about an hour, and then off he went. But what a nice guy.
Do you remember Carl?
Carl,
the Waterboys. Carl Wallinger.
Oh, Wallinger. Yeah, he was in Will Party.
That's right. That was many years ago. He looked out through a glassless window. Do you remember that?
He's a good song. He's a good songwriter.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious. I'm fucking fast. Oh, Jesus Christ. I love that song too.
Can you confirm this story? I can't remember who was telling me recently, but they were saying that there was some sort of event.
Tonight.
There was an event in I think it might have been the Brit Awards or something, but definitely maybe had just come out.
Can't remember, Martin. You're asking me for 30 years ago. I mean, come on, I can't confirm or deny anything. I'm lucky I can confirm I'm still alive.
Fair enough. But let's play along with this because you'll like where the story is going. So apparently, I think it was when Definitely Maybe came out, and there's a big award ceremony, and it's all over Rolling Stone magazine. Bon Jovi walks into the dressing room. Liam and Noel, the lads, probably yourself as well. And Bon Jovi walks in with a copy of the Rolling Stone magazine. And he goes, hey, guys, look at this. You're on the cover of Rolling Stone magazine. And I want to be the first person to say, Oasis did it, man. And then they were like, all right, cheers, lads, thanks. And then when he left, apparently Liam goes, who the fuck was that knobhead?
Probably. I don't know. I wasn't there, but probably that's a probable.
Do you know what you've missed tonight, mate? Which you're going to be fucking gutted not to be back in Ireland or England to be watching TV tonight. Bob Geldof's fucking 70th birthday on the Late Late Show with Tuberty.
Oh my God. See, I mean, you got to ask yourself, where are the paramilitaries these days with them two cunts still around?
I like him.
You know what I mean?
Well, he is. In all fairness, I'll get an awful lot but his sounds are fucking pretty pathetic, let's be honest now. We need to fucking get a grip of ourselves here. they were pretty much
no.
fucking horse shit.
Who?
I mean, you've got what's the fucking song about that fucking race or some shite? And I don't like Mondays. And they were decent songs, but in general, there's not enough there to entitle him to a full show on the Late Show, which lasts about fucking 2 hours long.
Rat
and he's
Trap
got
is very good.
Didn't he saved Africa? Didn't he? Surely.
Oh yeah, as I was saying, his humanitarian work was
Didn't
commendable.
most of that money from Live Aid end up in the hands of warlords?
Are you talking music, or are you talking about his humanitarian work?
Well,
Do you reckon he kept a few quid off the top of that? Do you know what I mean? He's like, look,
listen,
I need to fucking look after myself a bit after all the fucking. I'm taking a commission for all my good work.
Years of fucking bluffing and 2 years of fucking maybe we'll consider going down a different road.
I don't know the guy. I've never met him. So I really I don't like. Do I like Mondays? I don't like Mondays, and I don't think many people do.
Was it music or was it his actual overall influence? And like being a decent human, like a decent member of the community.
Listen, it could have been worse. It could have been Bongo for 2 hours. Okay.
Come on, Rat Trap was one of the great songs, and he fucking tried. That's really bad form. That's really bad. You can pick on someone for trying, but that's really bad form.
Who is?
Come on.
Listen, you gave him the freedom of Dublin. We didn't give him freedom of fuck all.
Yeah, but come on. Well, you've your freedom or whatever you want now, but come on, you can't pick on someone for trying. That's really bad form, lads. That's really that offends me. The guy fucking did. He did his fucking best.
Martin.
Yeah.
Which one of these fellas is offended?
Bongo.
No, him. No, which one? Which the fella with the bad light? Have you got no lighting, mail?
The guy with the red cap is offended.
I'm not fucking offended. Your man is at the top right.
Who?
Top right.
Ewan.
Who? Oh, him. He doesn't even know.
Yeah,
him. He lives in Portugal with the fairies.
I've lived in Brazil, and you know what? I find this really offensive. I genuinely do.
Oh, do you now, boys?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm not a woke sort. But
I'm offended. You don't know who Ty McLoone is.
Well, you know what, Ewan? I'm glad you're offended because it was meant to offend.
Well, it wasn't meant in a creative way, to be honest. It was meant in your holiday piss-up way.
Too much talking over each other, boys.
Exactly. How about we all... In fact, Martin, I've got things to do, so I'm going to carry on. I've said my piece. Martin, I'll speak to you soon. How do we get out of this place?
I'll eject you from the room. Thanks for coming on, Paul.
No, Martin, you know I love you, ginger bollocks. I'll see you soon. See you later.
Love you too, mate. Good night.
Thank you.
Well,
Martin, I know you didn't have me on to ruin opportunity. I don't even know who that is, but I just couldn't stand by. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate your candor. It was just the Geldof thing. I was just saying, like, late show. I was just seeing what his opinion was, but in terms of Geldof, I remember for me, I watched a film that came on to RTE once, and I think it was called Being Bob, and I was looking at the premise of the film. It was one of these ones that came on TV, and the premise of the film was him after a gig. He missed his taxi and he got stuck in this bizarre kind of working man's club somewhere up north. And his only way out of there was pretending to be himself. And he played and sung Tell Me Why I Don't Like Mondays in the film. And after I saw that, I was just like, oh, man.
Well,
it was...
The correct was Paul was, we were on about Bob Geldof, and I was like, we were all on about, like, he actually has contributed well to society in terms of humanitarian aims, but in terms of music, like the band he was in, like the Boomtown Rats, were basic enough. He doesn't actually, he's not entitled to a full maybe hour of, I don't know how long it took on the Late Show, maybe, I don't know, how 45 minutes.
Is an hour on the Late Show the real level of fucking greatness? I mean, anyone on this fucking forum is entitled to probably fucking a month of the late. I mean, I'm sure if a fella turned 70, it's created Live Aid, and I don't like his wankiness. But he did Live Aid before he was a wanker. The Boomtown Rats were before he was a wanker. Rat Trap was before he was a wanker. Give him his hour and let's, I mean, I don't think that's worthy of.
Ewan, where do you think it started? When did he? Because he seemed pretty cool until like the late. Is it? I mean, there is as all males will get towards the end of. As they get older, there's the kind of irrelevance and being out of touch with life. It moves on. And is that an issue? Yeah, I mean, like I'm pretty much middle aged now.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Martin. Like, if your hero passes away, like say he was your hero like 25, 30 years ago, basically you're not actually crying about who he is. You're crying about who he was.
What bad did Geldof do, though?
Wait, what's the evolution of...
Hang on, 1 second. You guys talk amongst yourselves there for a second. I just need to... Hold on 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Ewan, what's the evolution of becoming a wanker, as you called him? Like, when does that start?
Becoming a wanker takes a long period of time to evolve.
I think it becomes louder and being offended by good stuff.
By good stuff? Yeah, that's a broad category.
I mean, we're talking here about Bob Geldof. So Irish people have suddenly are here. We are being very offended by a guy who grew up from nothing, made revolutionary music in the name of his country.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily, no.
Well, he did in the early days, but it didn't matter.
I just didn't read his music.
Rat Trap. He absolutely destroyed the culture thing in Ireland. In that he highlighted the race better than anyone through rock music.
It's important. Yeah.
Yeah, he went on to actually create Live Aid to make money for Ethiopians who are starving to death through rock. He went on to do a second kind of Live Aid in, late 90s called Rock Aid, make more money for them. And we don't like him. And all I hear is, what did he do wrong?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What did he do wrong? What did he do wrong?
Yeah,
give me an example of a thing he did wrong, and we'll.
All I was saying was his band
weren't
worthy of great attention. I didn't rate his band, but yeah, in terms of
you're liking his band doesn't matter to his billions feeding children. Frankly,
I mean that is a very nice thing.
What is the downside of his career?
Yeah,
why are we bad on Bob Geldof?
Only because his band, humanitarian wise, top class. Yeah, top class.
Yeah, but why? You're dismissing his. You said you were down on his band.
Yeah,
so he's a nice person who
made half the fucking world while making music. Some people like it, some don't. What's the fucking downside?
I don't like Mondays and fucking Rat Trap. Like, I mean, they're not exactly fucking
Rat
hits.
Trap was an incredible song written about fucking working class Dublin while he was at it. And I Don't Like Mondays was written about a kid who blew every kid in his classroom around in a shotgun.
What?
And he said, I don't like Mondays to police.
Like, it's just, they don't appeal to my ears. Like, my ears don't go fucking mental when I hear them songs. They're just not.
The humanitarian aid should stop when your ears don't.
No,
but them songs weren't based on
things. Hold on a second.
What they brought to the party. They
brought to the party billions in humanitarian aid. Many top one hits.
Initially, they weren't released for that reason. It was the other songs that were released for that reason. That they were just their actual songs. Like,
well, Rat Trap was released as a fundraiser for working class kids, and the whole point was it's a rat trap. And what's amazingly Judy's putting on the
they weren't releasing songs continuously to try and feed the fucking starvation. Like, they actually released songs.
But what did you want them to do? Did you want them to go around playing gigs in the fucking Western world to feed the West? They were a band who gave most of their profits to fucking starving children.
Yeah, but
That's
that
a
wasn't
very
why they
nice
were set
thing
up.
to do. I think
That wasn't why they
we
were
can
set
all
up.
agree.
They didn't set
Hold
up
on,
to
hold on, hold
fucking
on.
feed the
Hold on one
hungry of
second.
fucking Somalia.
No band set up to feed the starving in a country that wasn't starving while they were set up. Do you want them to predict the starving and then give all their future profits to that country?
It's true.
No, what I'm saying is,
I think their expectations are a little bit high.
No, what I'm saying is, they obviously had the opinion that they might make a few quid for themselves as well. They're hardly going to fucking make money for everyone apart from themselves.
I'm sure in organizing the greatest fundraiser for starving children on earth, they may have organized a little bit of money from themselves and then organized billions for starving children. I'm sure there was a bit siphoned off.
Their main songs, and Rat Trap and I Don't Like Mondays, were they out before that or afterwards?
Say again. Sorry.
Banana, you know their main songs, Banana Republic and I Don't Like Mondays and Rat Trap. Were they out before or after Live Aid?
Before. Years before. About a decade before.
They weren't released as fucking hits to make money for charity. They were trying to make money for themselves at that stage.
God help them. Animals, lads who come from inner city Dublin, trying to make music for 20 years, getting nowhere, and then they come up with a hit. How dare they make money?
No, I'm saying I don't enjoy their music. I think it's shit.
That's fine. You're entitled to that, but many did. Your argument is quite different, though.
Yeah, but I know, but I'm saying you were trying to suggest that their music was always kind of like nearly trying to make money for charity, like as if they were a fucking charity.
My argument was that they did incredible things with their limited fame.
Society of Music.
They did incredible things with their limited fame.
Who's this now?
Oh, Krusties, yeah.
The Boomtown
And that's
Rats.
why he should be celebrated.
Boomtown Rats, yeah.
That's why that's why he should be celebrated.
You must have gone about an hour.
On the late not because of music. His music was very, very limited.
Consider this an addendum of the Late Late Show tonight.
Yes. Well, I will tell you. I'm going to take over. I'm going to fucking tell you that any band, you might say they've only a couple of hits. They came from nothing. Their songs are about nothing, and whatever they did after that, and whatever royalty they took, to actually try and twice fundraise billions and achieve it through mates for starving people. No, there's no downside to that. There is genuinely no downside to that because no one else bothers.
But as I said, he should be celebrated for his humanitarian fucking.
He had a couple of cracking tunes too.
His quality in that department, like where he's achieved well as regards like.
It's the most Irish thing. We can't speak for his music because we have to handle it over to the Department of fucking Deficiency.
But I'm only questioning the fact that his music is limited enough that he's basically not entitled to an hour and a half.
He's also raised about €3 billion for starving children. Who gives a fuck about his music?
That's what the topic should be about for the whole. But that's what the topic should be about for the whole show, not about the music. The music shouldn't even be brought into it.
Well, you can't. I mean, you'd need to acknowledge the music because that's what got him to the point of raising the money via Live Aid. It's a fucking chicken.
And Live Aid was all about music, so everything was about music. So he did.
Yeah.
You want Bob Dylan's kind of penis naked without his body? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Hey, look, let's move on from the Bob Geldof chat, and we will.
Let's talk
about Bobby Davro.
Oh, Bobby Davro.
I know his name, but I've no idea. He was a kind of a show band man, wasn't he?
No, Bobby Davro. He was Russ Abbott's comedy sidekick, and then he'd had a brief stint in EastEnders for a bit, where he was working behind the bar in the Vic. I think maybe he was going out with Shirley, the woman who looks like a seagull. But look, this is EastEnders trivia again. So, but I have no
opinion on this.
But I was going to say we're at the 2 hours and 33 mark, fellas. I've just realised I've got laundry in the morning. But I've enjoyed this chat, and thank you very much for for bringing it on. And also, I will.
I'll get a bit more, and maybe a small bit more of Ryan Tuberty as well. If we could criticize them for another half hour each, would be happy enough.
Look, we can dedicate the Tuberty hour to you next time, where we look at the end of the day.
Can I do a sexy voice before we go? Because I've got into this.
Yes.
The man on the right is going home to tuck himself. The man on the left is going home to caress his wife. The man in the center is going to save the world. Isn't that good? That's
the man with the golden voice.
Fucking hell, he's fairly accurate now. I guarantee you.
That's pretty fucking good.
About him now. He talks a bit of shite, but he's definitely fairly accurate.
What do you reckon of that?
Fucking hell. You must be a fucking clairvoyant.
Michael, is that not fucking...
But look, come here, Dwayne. I'm going to have to wrap this up. I would like to thank you.
Martin, you know when you're picking them because that man knows what he's talking about.
That's why he's on. I like it.
Was that voice worthy of something in the future?
It was. Get on to Deborah Pierce at Voice Bank, and she might give you the touch.
All I know is I won 600 bucks today, and I'm going to the game tomorrow to lose it, and I'm going to go like this. Oh yeah, we're having it large.
Chumbawamba, he gets knocked down, he gets up again, but you're never going to keep him.
I don't mind. I'll take the hits. I'll come back up again, baby.
No Autograph says, Dwayne, you're legend.
Thank you, my friend. We'll have a drink again.
We will indeed. Come here, listen, Dwayne. Thank you for coming on. It's there's you know, it's not for the faint-hearted. The old live stream conversation.
Oh, I enjoyed it, Martin. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And it was, you know, where else would you get these characters meeting and having these conversations? It's magic.
No one permits it.
This is it. And say hello to the gang out in Canaf, and say hello to Tanya, your mother, and your father.
100%, Martin, and
say hello to John Joe.
Best wishes to all yours as well, and we'll have a drink again at some stage.
Have you any message before you leave? Any final like Jerry Springer's final thought?
I have no tips now for tomorrow, but I'm going to.
There's no tips at all. No tips on the football.
We'll do one more horse race before I go. And it's out the photo now. Kono Star's in front. Germans in second place and back in third place. It's Exotic Dancer. Kono Star over the second lot. He's in front by 2.5 lengths. Germans in second place. Back in third place is Exotic Dancer. Kono Star is over the last. He's 2.5 lengths clear. Kono Star is a different class. Back in second place is German and third. Exotic Dancer. So that'll do before we go.
He's the guy behind that.
He's the guy behind that, boy. He's a beautiful human being. Dwayne, thanks very much. Always a pleasure, my friend, to get the latest in the insights.
Thank you for the crack. I enjoyed the bit of crack.
Me too.
Hey, sure, where else would you be getting it on a Friday night other than the pub?
Nowhere apart from fucking maybe listen to a bit of trance on the interweb.
Fucking bit of RTE2, the trance on a Saturday night when you're on a minibus on the way to Julian's at midfield. Packed in.
I think
health and safety.
Julian at the door.
Am I in the middle of your screen as well, by the way? I look like a kind of a 1970s kind of Florida. Once we're finished drinking.
Oh no, you have an idea.
The DUI is on the way.
Dwayne, God bless. I'm removing you from the chat now. Thanks very much. And I say hello to the gang. Good luck.
Good night.
Good luck, mate. Bye-bye.
I can't believe he's the guy behind that voice. That's hilarious.
You know, there's a lot of lads with a lot of voices. Ewan, thank you very much for coming on. I know we did this without any plan. We'd never spoken to each other in IRL before. I want to thank you.
I actually had to ask you about your Cockney accent.
Cockney accent? Wait,
exactly. That's how little I knew about you. I just liked your Hardy Book stuff.
Thank you very much. And you were also in the second captains for a while, weren't you?
They threw me out.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. No, I was a contributor. They'd never let me to begin.
They didn't give you the full ticket.
No, I wasn't in a million miles the full ticket. Those guys have done fucking great things. I wasn't in a million miles of that. They did their own shit. I was, at the bottom. But no, fucking pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, I know it's an absolute pleasure to have you on. You and you're a good crack, and like you were thrown into the mix with some colourful characters there. And
I've been drinking for 2 hours, my friend. On top of 2 hours.
That's you did the quadruple. And
God help us, and I apologize to anyone who has to listen to my slurring language.
No, you've been very loquacious and very erudite, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on it. And I would love to have you on again. I'd love to get you on with Jay Daly. He's on the United stand, and he's also in the Hardy Books. He was our. I've just got a Lulu has been asking. This particular shirt, Lou, it came from a place called Brothers in Stockholm about 2 years ago. It's discontinued, I imagine, but get on to brothers.se and maybe someone has one left in there. Good night, Chris, and a big thank you to Chris Perez as well for coming on. And also
people talking.
Oh, there's all the chat in the comments, man. George Murphy, sipping on a pinty of bookies and a 200 spot with the missus. What's the crack? I just want to say thank you to everyone in the chat as well. It's been great.
Well, I want to thank you for occupying my evening,
mate. It's an absolute pleasure. Yes, that was the Gallagher brother. Yeah, but the thing is, like, I lived there till I was 13, so I mostly like.
I am going to wake up tomorrow, and my look out on the beach is going to be very different based on this news.
You're down on the beach, are you? Going for an old dip. Tell me this, have you picked up any surfing while you're down there?
There's a guy who's 58, and for the last 2 years since I bought an apartment here, every morning he goes, and I say it's too cold. He says, come on out. And he surfs every fucking morning, and he wants to give me a wetsuit. I really should take him up on it one day, shouldn't I?
You know, I'll tell you, I've surfed since I was 12, and obviously here on the east coast of Sweden, there's no surf. But it's one thing I do miss is just heading out with the lads, board strapped to the car, and just one of the nice things about surfing is there's no law of man. It's just you and nature, and there's no bureaucracy. There's no nonsense. It's just you and the elements. And
he goes out here, and it's a little bit busier, obviously in summer, but not that busy because it's a little bit north, 20 kilometers Porto. Porto's big day tripper, and if you have a day trip thing, you're not coming here. But he has a bicycle. A lovely old kind of vintage bicycle, and he cycles down about 500 yards to the beach. The surfboard, and he has two of them on the back of his bicycle, and he looks at the waves, and he goes out. And that could be 10 o'clock in the morning, and he won't come in till 4 in the evening, and he'll always look at you, and because he has a dog, and they have a dog. Yeah, always out all day.
I'll tell you this, Ewan, right? Take one thing from me. If you're down in Portugal and you can work from home and you want to get fit and you want to do something that just completely removes you from the civilized world, and it's just you and the elements, there's no greater rush than when you catch a wave and then you just feel that surge of Mother Nature. Once you get into it, you'll be hooked, mate. And if you're living right on the beach, you're living the dream. That's something.
That's what I need to get into, because he often says, your addiction is something else. He says, be a drink.
Pornography.
Fuck, man. I'm not even bad on board. I drink, but he'd often go, I cannot get away from that. And the worst day in winter, he'll try and find something every day. And he's often at me, come on down. 500-meter walk. I need to get into that, man.
Do it, honestly. Give it a month of it, and once you catch your first wave, you're gonna be hooked.
And you know, the best time, I might get into it in heavy winter. Then the summer will be fun.
Yeah. Winter's like that. The winter is like, we would go out in the winter in Mayo. We go down to Strona, we hit Achill Island or Carniski. And if you get yourself a good winter wetsuit, it's grand. The only shit part is to get changed outside.
I'm 100 yards to the house, so fuck it.
Yeah, man. If I were you, I'd be doing it every day. There'd be no excuse at all. You.
I've been there 2 years and I haven't got into it. Yeah, about time I copped on, isn't it?
Get yourself a longboard and get yourself a winter wetsuit and get yourself the gloves and the hood and the booties. And
longboard and a wetsuit. They're the only things I heard.
Yeah, longboard and wetsuit. Winter wetsuit. Because the winter wetsuit you can use in the summer as well. But I'm going to have to shoot off now. We're 2:22. Are you in GMT there in Portugal?
No, I'm in. Yeah, we are 1:22 here.
Yeah. the overhead. Yeah, because
God help your listeners for listening. I apologize for the last.
No. Look, the thing is, no, it's been fantastic having you on, and what I like, you're a man who sticks to his principles, even regards to Geldof. You said, I
could have done worse.
No, but I like someone who sticks to the guns and takes a contrarian view instead of goes along with the tide. You spoke your mind and you defended your patch, and fair play, and it's a good mark of a man. And you have my respect, and I'd like to get you on again. I mean, we'll be in touch and get you on with Jay, and we can talk American sports.
Have to put you in contact with my agent.
12%. You're a good skin, and I'd like to get down to Portugal and see you hit up Costa Caparica down in south of Lisbon.
You're more than welcome. I'll come on the show anytime, but sorry for your listeners for having to
the comments have been largely fantastical, and it's just a nice place.
Where can I see these comments?
Oh yeah, if you go up to the top right hand corner, it says comments. You can see all the comments.
Oh fuck, I'm not great with tech. This is brilliant.
So you haven't seen the comments during it? Yeah, there's people asking.
Geez, have a double chin, don't they?
Not at all, man. It's just the shadow of the mustache. What are you drinking now? Are you on the Super Bowl?
I'm still on the Litron here.
Good stuff. Oh yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna have one more before I go to bed, which is actually
it's only 1:20.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd be doing. If you'd have to do the laundry over here, if you miss the laundry, because we live in apartments, so you have this thing called the tvättstuga here in Sweden, which is the dreaded communal laundry, and you have to book it with a key. And the hardest bit is actually going in and checking the key and remembering to do that. But tomorrow it's 9 a.m. for me doing the laundry, and if you miss it, then it's like the lottery. Man.
Well, do you want? I'll give you one before everyone goes. I went down to a bar with a friend, a Dutch guy I drink with normally, and jeez, we had 5 beers, 4 little beers. He drinks, he's 60, and the bill was 20 quid, quite cheap here. And I realized I took my wife's card, and it was about a 3-year-old card. And your man looks at me. He said, "I said, do you mind if I pay tomorrow?" "No problem. Bring your 20 euros tomorrow. No problem." No, they're so trustworthy.
They're sound.
They're sound. And I've only been in that bar maybe once in 2 years. And your man,
the thing is as well, like even their policy with drug use is so much more mature. It's like they don't treat it as a crime. They treat it as a health issue.
Well, that was one of the most fascinating things in Europe, that they had.
How's that working out?
HIV, incredible. Like annoying. Like if you go around, if you come out of the petrol station in Porto, you'll be sold every sort of drugs, the same way you would be sold knickknacks on a beach in Barbados.
Yeah.
But they went from the highest rate of AIDS in Europe in the 80s, and they managed to solve that crisis by before the 90s.
Wow.
Highest rate of AIDS in 1986, lowest rate of AIDS in 1989.
Wow.
By legalizing it, by basically going, everyone gets a needle and a condom. Everyone gets a needle and a condom, and just throwing them out free for all.
Yeah.
And that was all it took.
That's the thing here in Sweden. They're very kind of liberal and open in every other way. But when it comes to their policy on the drug use, it's still very much a taboo subject. But it's something that lately there has been. You see it in the streets. It's more prevalent now. ATB Vids says, "Let off some steam, Bennett mustache," in relation to Vernon Wells there in Commando featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What's a Bennett mustache?
Remember Bennett, the mercenary who was attacking. He was the henchman of the guy in Commando, with the 1986 movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where it's like, hey, Matrix, when I cut your daughter's throat, it's gonna be like cutting butter. It's like,
fuck me.
Yeah, he's like,
have you ever some Saturday hungover watching kind of like The Running Man or something, one of Schwarzenegger's old movies?
No, but that would be a good Saturday well spent. I need to spend a few Saturdays like that. Predator's always a classic.
And they managed to make the Hunger Games completely out of this nonsense.
Oh yeah.
And the Running Man was just better than all of them put together.
Well, that's where Buzz got his nickname from in the Hardy books, was from Buzzsaw in the character in Running Man. But on that note, Ewan, thank you very, very much for coming on, mate. It was and respect. There was very little information about the stream, but it was I said in the description, it's basically the pub for lads who are staying in. We got Melody Pugh there from Yorkshire. How are you doing? Evening late, boys.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, she's into the old Viking reenactments.
She's looking well.
Oh, hey. Maxwell Jacobs says Ewan is a professional man of the gap.
Yes.
Oh, there you have it. Thanks very much, Ewan.
In this accent.
You can, of course. You can, of course. And we got Occam's Brute. He was a critic before, and it says Ewan has gone up in my books. Found a lot of his articles annoying. At least
fuck you.
And what we got? And Lulu says Ewan's womb broom is superior. So
it is spectacular.
Ewan, God bless you, mate. Thanks very much. And
enjoy the weekend. Thank you for having me on. You're a legend. Keep it rocking.
Much obliged, my friend. And to all the viewers, thanks very much for sticking it out. And we might begin midweek. We'll see how it goes. But you're always Ewan is king, says Pez Power Productions. Chrissy Perez, the Boston. You remind me a lot of Podge from Ham Sandwich, if you know him. Yeah, I'd say you're far out relations. Right, I'm going to end the broadcast. Thank you, Ewan, very much for coming on, and I'll talk to you very soon. And you're always welcome on any time, mate. You've brought the production value up big time.
I have.
Right, Shlán Abolia and Groovy Mila Mahogany. Say hello to Portugal for me.
I will.